Chapter 3653. That was an apex weapon. They had never seen one before. Not to mention them, even the second astral realm did not have one. How could someone from the first astral realm have seen such a thing? Don't underestimate the first astral realm, Fu Hongye said in a deep voice. Haven't you heard of the origin star? Are you saying that the origin star really exists? Everyone was shocked. It definitely exists, and it should be in the first astral realm. Not everyone could go there as it was very dangerous. The elder's expression was also solemn. They were from the sacred city and were knowledgeable. Although the first astral realm was not as powerful as their second astral realm, some places were like forbidden lands. Even a sage king would not dare to go there easily. Other than some forbidden lands, there were two places that were the most mysterious and terrifying in the universe. One was the origin star, and the other was the buried emperor star. One was the starting point, and the other was the end. These two worlds also had the most monarch clans, and they also had the most extreme Dao weapons. The monarch races gasped when they heard that. It seemed that the first astral realm was much more mysterious than they had imagined. They wondered if Lin Wudi had anything to do with the origin star. In the eighth heaven, the hidden immortal pagoda suddenly fell and attacked fiercely after it appeared. The eighth heaven rolled and trembled. Once, twice. On the 19th time, it finally blasted open the eighth heaven and a crack appeared. That's great. Lin Xian roared and shot into the sky, entering the fissure. Big brother Lin, you can do it. I'll wait for you outside. Shen Jingqiu called out to him, and then her figure disappeared from the seventh heaven. Boom, 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 boom. The people of Wuxia City were stunned. That kid actually went in. Oh God, is he going to tie the record again? At this moment, even Fu Hongye was surprised. That kid really had many tricks up his sleeve. The surrounding onlookers were even more shocked. Did Lin Wudi really go in? Or did he fail? Impossible, he definitely could not succeed. The Imperial Mausoleum roared crazily. In the next moment, he felt a fluctuation in the void above his head, and then a figure appeared. He came out. Someone had come out. And from the looks of it, it was above the Imperial Mausoleum. It should be that Lin Wudi. He should have failed. Screams rang out one after another. They looked over carefully. Di Ling and the others looked up into the sky. In the next moment, they saw a figure appear above them. The other party was standing on an auspicious cloud and had an extremely beautiful appearance. A woman. It was Shen Jingqiu, the saintess of the spirit clan. Everyone was stunned. They naturally knew Shen Jingqiu. Had he already ascended to the seventh layer of heaven? Could it be that he was Lin Wudi? No, the other party was definitely not Lin Wudi. Lin Wudi was still inside and had not come out. Heavens! Everyone screamed. Di Ling's face darkened. Someone had stepped on his head, and it wasn't just one person. Not to mention Lin Wudi, just Shen Jingqiu's ascension to the seventh layer of heaven was enough to make him explode. As one of the 8 heavenly prides, he had never put Shen Jingqiu in his eyes. But now the other party had surpassed him. Gui Li, Shui, Tianchen and the others were also stunned. After Shen Jingqiu came out, she was also speechless. She was now the highest. Di Ling had only ascended to the 6th layer of heaven. This made her extremely surprised. Then she smiled happily. Humph, what Di Ling, he was completely incomparable to brother Lin. Dang. At this moment, a sound attracted everyone's attention. Listen, there was a sound. Lin Wudi really did not come out. He had ascended to the 8th layer of heaven. Screams rang out one after another. Di Ling and the others' heads were about to explode. The 8th layer of heaven, the other party had ascended to the 8th layer of heaven. Damn it. Damn it. 1, 2, 3. Did the other party only make 3 sounds? It seemed that the 8th layer of heaven was indeed too difficult. Even someone as strong as Lin Wudi could only make 3 sounds. It seemed that he was still lacking compared to senior brother Linghu Chueshua. The people from Wuxia City heaved a sigh of relief. Fu Hongye's eyes lit up. Don't worry, this was just the beginning. That kid would not give up so easily. Sure enough, after the 3rd sound, it was the 5th sound followed by the 7th sound. At this moment, everyone was nervous. Could the other party make the perfect 9 heavenly thunder sounds again? After the 7th sound, there was no sound, which made everyone stunned. Could it be that this was the end? The elder from Wuxia City sighed. Was a pity. He was only 1 sound away from tying with Linghu Chueshua's record. He should have reached his limit. Fu Hongye sighed. However, at this moment, there were continuous rumbles between heaven and earth. Thunder struck the 9th layer of heaven as if it was going to shatter the 9th layer of heaven. What's going on? Where did the thunder come from? It was a lightning tribulation. Some of the older experts screamed. Someone had broken through in the 9th layer of heaven. What? Did he break through? Who could be so monstrous? They were extremely surprised. Di Ling and the others were also envious. Although comprehending the heavenly thunder sounds had improved their understanding of the laws of heaven and earth and gave them a new understanding, their current strength had also improved compared to when they first entered. However, none of them had broken through. That was because it was not that easy to break through at this point. But now, someone had broken through. That was too heaven-defying. It was Lin Wudi. He had broken through. The people from Wuxia City looked at the array formation and were dumbfounded. Indeed, in the 8th layer of heaven, countless thunder fell, striking Lin Xian's body until his skin was charred black and his flesh was torn. However, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. Instead, he looked up to the sky and laughed. That was great. He had broken through the 9 heavenly thunder sounds all the way and finally broke through at this moment. Come on, Lin Xian fought a bloody battle. In the end, his cultivation reached the mid-stage of the 2nd layer of heaven. The process lasted for 5 days and 5 nights. Everyone waited patiently. The lightning tribulation in the sky disappeared. Everyone's eyes lit up. Was the breakthrough over? They wondered who it was. Was it Lin Wudi? What realm was he at now? Everyone was curious. Boom. Between heaven and earth, 9 sounds sounded at the same time. 9 heavenly thunder sounds. The 8th 9 heavenly thunder sounds was struck. Everyone was going crazy. At that moment they witnessed a miracle. The people from Wuxia City were even more dumbfounded. Someone had broken Linghu Chueishua's record. At the same time he had also broken Fu Hongye's record. That was because Lin Wudi continuously reached the 8th layer and struck 8-9 heavenly thunder sounds in the sky. That was equivalent to a new record for Wuxia City. At that moment, everyone was in an uproar. They sent the news back to Wuxia City. Wuxia City was also in a state of shock. Yet another figure had arrived. Chapter 3654. It was a man in snow-white robes. He had a small mustache and gave off a mature feeling. He was the eldest disciple of the first generation. His name was Linghu Chueishua, senior brother. When the people of Peerless City saw him, they all bowed. Even Fu Hongye bowed. Did someone break our record? Linghu Chueishua was shocked as he looked at the 9th heaven. The next moment he took a deep breath. This kid is so strong. It seems that this time Peerless City will welcome a new monster. Lin Xian's breakthrough and the 8 heavenly thunder 9 sounds he unleashed had completely shocked everyone. They all knew that a new monster was about to appear, but they were very curious about who it was. That kid should be coming out soon. Yes, he has already reached the 8th heaven. He probably won't be able to break through the 9th heaven. Legend has it that no one can break through it. Even the eldest disciple of Peerless City couldn't break through it. He shouldn't be able to reach the 9th heaven either. Everyone was discussing intensely. They felt that it was about time for him to appear. The people of Peerless City also said, "Senior brother, do you think he can reach the 9th heaven?" When they asked this, their faces were full of anticipation. Fu Hongye's eyes flickered. Linghu Chueishua also frowned slightly and said, "It's not certain. I've never seen anyone who can break my and junior brother Fu's record. Now that such a person has appeared, he might really be able to break it." Break the legend? Does senior brother Linghu think he can reach the 9th heaven? The people of Peerless City were really shocked. Fu Hongye also nodded. It's possible that the 9th heaven isn't just a competition of strength, but more of the comprehension of the laws. This kid can produce 8 heavenly thunder 9 sounds. His comprehension of the laws is far beyond others. Therefore he's really hopeful. Countless pairs of eyes looked towards the 9th heaven. At the 8th heaven, Lin Xian sat cross-legged and began to thoroughly comprehend. After 49 days he opened his eyes. Then he raised his head and looked at the 9th heaven. There was only one last heaven left. Lin Xian naturally wouldn't shrink back. No matter what, he would give it his all. In the 8th layer of heaven, he felt that his laws had become stronger, and the speed of this increase was very fast. It was much faster than the previous few heavens. Therefore he thought that if he could step onto the last layer of heaven, then he might be able to break through again. This kind of opportunity was hard to come by for him. If he missed this opportunity, there would be too many men for him to break through in other places. His figure exploded as he charged into the 9 heavens. It collided with the 9 heavens. Sword chi rumbled all over his body, and the roar of the Qilin also appeared. Countless divine chains of laws hung down from the 9th heaven, releasing billions of rays of light. It was dazzling. The two collided, releasing a sonorous sound. A terrifying explosion of power shook the 9 heavens. The people outside all held their breaths. They knew that Lin Wudi was trying to break through to the final heavenly layer. At this moment, the vast majority of people hoped that Lin Wudi would succeed, because they wanted to witness a legend. However, there were also a portion of people who were gnashing their teeth and praying in their hearts. Damn it, no, he must not succeed. Among them were Guili, Di Ling and the others. They did not want him to succeed even if they were beaten to death. Because if he succeeded, then he would be a legend of that time. In the ninth heaven, Lin Xian was sent flying back, spitting out a mouthful of blood. The impact here was too strong. Even he couldn't bear it. However, he wouldn't let go. With a furious roar, the dragon sword soul in his body surged crazily, and the dragon-shaped sword chi slashed in all directions. He rushed up again. The laws of the nine heavens became even more resplendent. It was as if immortal light was constantly sweeping across. The two collided. Every strike was earth-shattering. The people of Peerless City felt their scalps go numb. This kid was really too terrifying. He could actually reach such a level. Fu Hongye and Linghu Chueshue also had solemn expressions. It was too forced. With Lin Xian's current state, he might not be able to break through. However, Lin Xian still had a trump card. With a wave of his hand, the phantom of the hidden immortal pagoda appeared and began to bombard from above. He also condensed the 10,000 dragons picture and attacked from below. The phantoms of the two extreme weapons bloomed with billions of rays of light, and a powerful aura swept across the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Boom, boom. This battle was earth-shattering. It had been 4 days and 4 nights, but Lin Xian still had not broken through. His body was covered in wounds and his body was already broken. However, his eyes were shining brighter. Kill. Lin Xian roared crazily. The sword chi on his body rushed out, completely enveloping the entire 8th heaven. At this moment, nothing could be seen. Even the people of Peerless City could not see through the array. They could only see a golden light, and they could not see Lin Xian's figure at all. It seemed that it was really too forced. Those people shook their heads. It had been 4 days and 4 nights and he still had not broken through. This was probably that kid's limit. The spectators further away were also discussing. He was still 1 step away. There was no other way. The 9th heaven was a mythical existence. There was definitely no one who could reach it. No matter how strong Lin Wudi was, it was impossible for him to reach it. Yes, he was already very heaven-defying now. He had broken 2 of Peerless City's records. Everyone felt that Lin Xian had stopped here. Di Ling, Guili and the others snorted coldly. Although they were still very unhappy, they knew that the other party had stopped and could not enter the last heaven. A sense of schadenfreude appeared in their hearts. Buzz. At the 8th heaven, Lin Xian used sword chi to envelop the entire space. Then he summoned the great dragon sword soul. On his hands, the laws of the 5 elements revolved. He held the great dragon sword soul, and an incomparable light burst out from his eyes. Explode. At this moment he did not hold back at all. The great dragon sword soul kept rumbling, absorbing the power of heaven and earth and began to explode. The green sword shadow rumbled between heaven and earth. At this moment, everyone felt their scalps go numb. An incomparably terrifying aura spread out. Damn it, what was that? Everyone went crazy. The people of Peerless City were also terrified. That kid, did he summon another extreme weapon? Why was it so terrifying this time? Damn it, a golden light was sent flying. They could not see what he was doing at all. He probably did it on purpose. Linghu Chueshue took a deep breath. This aura? Impossible, that kid actually had a trump card? Guili and the others' faces changed drastically. Shui, Tianqin, Bufan and the others were shocked. This power was really too strong. Previously they were still unconvinced. They thought that they were careless last time and wanted to compete with Lin Wudi again. But now it seemed. They did not lose unjustly. The other party's methods were too shocking. Even if they fought with the other party again, they were afraid that they would not be his opponent. At this moment, the people who stayed in the 9th heaven were even more terrified. They trembled, kneeled on the ground and kept worshipping, thinking that a god had come out. Chapter 3655. Yuchinya was still in the 4th layer. His face was filled with despair as he was awakened by the sudden surge of energy. Damn it, why is this energy so strong? Who is this person? Yuchinya was so frightened that he almost peed his pants. Lin Xian held the great dragon sword spirit in his hand and split the sky open. At this moment, an unparalleled power exploded. At this moment, everyone thought that the end of the world had arrived. The rumbling between heaven and earth lasted for a few days before it gradually subsided. At the same time they were all excited. Did Lin Wudi succeed? Did he enter the last layer of heaven? Peerless City's people stared at the array. In the next moment someone screamed. He really went in. In the 9th layer of heaven, in the originally empty space, a figure suddenly appeared. This person's body was covered in cracks and blood flowed out, but his eyes were incomparably cold and bright. It was Lin Xian. He went in, he actually went in. Peerless City's people were stunned. He's really an unbelievable kid. Fu Hongya was also shocked. Although he thought highly of Lin Xian, he did not expect Lin Xian to have such potential. This was completely out of his expectations. On the other side, Linghu Chueshue sucked in a breath of cold air. He was the only one who reached the 8th layer of heaven. He also tried to break through to the 9th layer. However, he failed. He naturally knew how terrifying the 9th layer of heaven was. It was not only a matter of strength, it also represented something else. Therefore no one could enter it. But now, someone had actually succeeded. Looks like I won't be lonely in the future. A top monster has finally appeared on the ancient path of the stars. On the other side, Di Ling Guili and the others were going crazy. He succeeded. How is this possible? They could not believe it, they could not accept it. They did not expect that there would be such a heaven-defying person by their side. In Stillwater Sky City, Shibufan, Wang Xiaofeng and the others were also shocked. Now they no longer had any hostility. Instead it was replaced by fear. Isn't it courting death to make an enemy out of such a person? Shen Jingqiu narrowed his crescent-shaped eyes. He was really happy. Big Brother Lin is really awesome. So this is the 9 heavens. I'm really curious. In the 9th layer of heaven, Lin Xian appeared. He felt the aura around him and was incomparably shocked. This kind of aura was very strange and it couldn't be described with words. Lin Xian felt very comfortable here. It was as if the world had just been born. For a moment he fell into an epiphany. Half a month later he opened his eyes. So this was what he looked like. His eyes grew brighter and brighter, and he now completely understood some parts of the laws that he didn't understand. He had undergone a sublimation. Then he began to walk in the void. Every time he landed, a golden lotus would rise from under his feet. This was the golden lotus of the Great Path. It was a manifestation of the great Tao of heaven and earth. If anyone else was here and saw this scene, they would definitely be so shocked that they would piss their pants. Lin Xian's comprehension of laws had actually reached such a level. Every step he took was accompanied by the sound of heavenly thunder. After 9 steps, 9 to 10 sounds of heavenly thunder rang out, circling the world. At the same time, a leaf floated over from the sky and landed in front of Lin Xian. The aura on the leaf was really too mysterious. It made Lin Xian feel all the pores on his body open. This was the leaf of Tao Comprehension Tea. He was stunned. Tao Comprehension Tea was said to be a divine tree between heaven and earth. The leaves of Tao Comprehension Tea contain the great Tao of heaven and earth. If one could obtain it, it would definitely be a great opportunity. Rumor had it that only great emperors could find the true Tao Comprehension Tea. It was very difficult to find the rest. They could only obtain 1 or 2 leaves of Tao Comprehension Tea from ancient ruins or some forbidden grounds. He didn't expect that he would actually obtain a leaf of Tao Comprehension Tea in the 9 heavens. This was great. He placed the leaf of Tao Comprehension Tea between his eyebrows, sat down cross-legged, and began to comprehend. The people outside were also crazy. The sound of heavenly thunder rang out again and there were 9 sounds. Not only did the other party enter the 9th layer of heaven, but he also struck out the 9th heavenly thunder 9 sounds. This was a kind of perfection. No one could do better than the other party. This was already a kind of extreme. Everyone was amazed. What kind of monster was this? Even the great emperors of ancient times were not like this when they were young. Everyone was extremely surprised by this. They didn't expect that this time, they would actually see such a heaven-defying youth. They were afraid that when the other party grew up in the future, it was very likely that he would become a great emperor. All kinds of envious voices rang out. After the other geniuses heard it, their scalps went numb, and their faces were full of envy. The charm of the great emperors of ancient times? Was really too enviable. At the same time they also had a kind of despair. It was the greatest misfortune to be born in the same era as such a monster. They were afraid that they would be suppressed by the other party for the rest of their lives. Damn it, how could it be? Ghostly gritted his teeth and his eyes were about to pop out. On the other side, Di Ling's face was also incomparably pale. The quality of the great emperors of ancient times? The other party was not qualified at all. His eyes burst with a biting cold killing intent. Kill the other party. He must take advantage of this opportunity to kill the other party. No one could surpass him. The fire of jealousy in his heart burned fiercely. On the other side, the people of Peerless City were also stunned. They really didn't expect that the other party not only broke 2 records, but also a new record. This record was probably the ultimate record. No one in the future could surpass it. At most it would be a tie. This guy was too monstrous. The corners of the mouths of the disciples of Peerless City twitched. The elder's face was also full of shock. "Junior brother, what do you think?" Ling Hu Chueshua asked. Fu Hongye's eyes burst with an incomparably shocking light. "His current strength might not be as good as ours, but his talent is really too strong. He's so strong that I've never seen it before." "That's right." Ling Hu Chueshua also sighed. "I've never admired anyone in the younger generation, but now I actually have a trace of admiration for him." "What kind of storm do you think he can stir up if he goes to the Three Lives Temple?" "The second astral realm has been peaceful for too long. Even if some geniuses rise up, they can't threaten those people. However, this time I think this Lin Wudi can disrupt the balance. Perhaps there will be a big reshuffle among the holy cities." The 2 brilliant powerhouses were also shocked by Lin Xian's performance. Next, everyone waited patiently. They originally thought that the other party would come out soon, but they didn't expect that they would wait for half a year. It was unbelievable. Did the other party meditate for so long? However, they could still afford to wait for half a year. The onlookers all wanted to know who Lin Wudi was. So they waited patiently. The geniuses who had already succeeded couldn't leave. They were still waiting to enter the next stage. During this time, everyone in Ninth Heaven came out. When they learned that there was still one person who hadn't come out, their faces were full of shock. Chapter 3656. After Yu Qinya came out, his face was gloomy and cold. At this moment he had recovered from his mental breakdown. He also knew that his mentality had collapsed, so now he was working hard to regain his self-confidence. Otherwise he was afraid that in the future he would be even worse. When he looked up, he saw Di Ling and the others standing far above him. Sixth Heaven, this Di Ling was really too strong. Wait, why was there someone above Di Ling? Yu Qinya went crazy again. He had collapsed before and did not know what happened. In his opinion, Di Ling should be the strongest. But now there was someone above Di Ling. Who was it? Damn it, it was the holy maiden of the spirit clan, Shen Jingqiu. How was this possible? He knew Shen Jingqiu's strength should be on par with him or even worse. But now, Shen Jingqiu was actually standing in the 7th heaven. Damn it, what happened? His face was full of shock. Where's that pretty boy? Where's that damn guy beside Shen Jingqiu? He looked carefully and found that there was only Shen Jingqiu in the 7th heaven. He breathed a sigh of relief. He knew it, that pretty boy, how could he be so powerful? However, the other party had entered the 5th heaven, which was also unbearable. Under Yu Qinya's gaze, he subconsciously looked towards the 5th layer of heaven. He saw Shui, Tiancheng, Bufan and a few others, but there was no sign of Lin Xian. How was it possible? Could it be that kid? He was shocked, but he found that there were only 2 people in the 6th heaven, Di Ling and Guili. Where was that kid? Could it be that he died in there? He was really too surprised. He looked around and still did not find any trace of the other party. Could it be that the kid was eliminated? Thinking of this, he was so excited that he was about to cry. That's great. That brat was still showing off. Now he's finally eliminated, right? At this time the person next to him said, "Oh, that Lin Wudi is still not out. What is he doing inside? He should still be comprehending, really enviable. What, there is still someone not out?" Yu Qinya instantly became nervous. It seemed that there was still someone in the 9th heaven. Who was it? Could it be that brat? For some reason Lin Xian's figure appeared in his mind. Impossible. He roared madly in his heart. It was definitely not that kid. According to the discussions of the people around, the one who stayed inside was a top genius, someone who had surpassed the imperial mausoleum. Now he had stepped into the 9th heavenly layer. Such a person was truly dazzling. He had the bearing of an ancient great emperor. How could such a person be that gigolo? However, Lin Xian was no longer around, which made him uneasy. Just like that, he waited for several months. Finally, on this day the world changed once again. Thunder once again poured down from the 9 heavens. This time it was even more violent than before. Did he break through again? Everyone was in an uproar. They had already seen this kind of appearance once before. Damn it, this Lin Wudi, in half a year he still wanted to break through. Everyone went crazy. The mouths of the people from Peerless City twitched. Imperial Mausoleum's people were so jealous that they almost fainted. Damn it, this was not a cabbage breaking through. This was a breakthrough in the Sage realm. How difficult was it to break through a small realm? Everyone here had a deep understanding of it. Previously, Lin Xian had broken through once inside, which made them extremely envious, but now he had broken through again. It had only been half a year. They had never heard of a sage who could break through twice in half a year. It was simply amazing. Even Fu Hongye and Linghu Chueshua had strange looks in their eyes. Wasn't he too monstrous? This time, the lightning tribulation was very violent, and it lasted for more than 10 days. Just when everyone thought that it was about to subside, the lightning tribulation suddenly exploded even more violently, making everyone's scalp tingle. What was Lin Wuti doing inside? He was going to be struck by lightning twice. Imperial Mausoleum gritted his teeth in his heart. Damn it, it would be best if you were struck to death. After another half a month, the sky full of thunder finally disappeared, and a figure walked out of the ninth heaven. He's out. Someone shouted. At that moment, countless sages turned their gazes towards the sky. The surrounding powerhouses, the sky prides who had already passed, Imperial Mausoleum, Gili, Shirbufan, and the others as well as the people from Peerless City, all had their eyes on a single person. Was him. Everyone was stunned. Was he Lin Wuti? Impossible, wasn't he a gigolo who lived off a woman? Damn it, how could he be Lin Wuti? Screams of terror rang out one after another. At this moment, other than the people from Peerless City, everyone else was screaming. Because they finally saw Lin Wuti's figure. Lin Wuti was actually the person next to Shin Jingqiu. He was actually Shin Jingqiu's husband. This was too unbelievable. Wasn't Shin Jingqiu's husband a gigolo, an early-stage second heaven sage? It was said that he was an ant from the first astral realm. How could he be such a monstrous genius? They couldn't believe it. But now he was standing above the ninth heaven looking down on them. They had no choice but to accept this fact. Was him. Was actually him. Shirbufan, Shui, Tianqin, Wang Xiaofeng and the others were stunned. They didn't expect that the person who defeated them was actually Shin Jingqiu's husband. It was actually this kid. Gili and Imperial Mausoleum were stunned too. Previously they looked at Lin Xian with disdain. They thought that he was an ant. But now he was standing on top of their heads looking down on them like a god. They couldn't accept this kind of psychological difference. Damn it. They vomited blood. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the other party was a second heaven sage. A second heaven sage was actually able to break the legend. They were going crazy with jealousy. Yuchinya was even more scared. How could it be this person? He was most familiar with Lin Xian. Because Lin Xian was someone their Yu clan wanted to kill. Previously, when Lin Xian escorted Yusiki back, their Yu clan didn't put him in their eyes at all. They even wanted to kill him mercilessly. Now, not only was he still alive, he had become a monstrous genius that attracted the attention of the world. Could it be that the previous 9 heavenly thunder 9 sounds were all from him? Yuchinya spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. He was so angry. He was really going to die from anger. If he wasn't a sage, he would have been angered to the 18th level of hell. Brother Lin really succeeded. Shin Jingqiu was filled with endless joy. Brother Lin actually broke through to the 3rd heaven sage. Suddenly, Shin Jingqiu exclaimed. She realized that Lin Xian wasn't a 2nd heaven sage, but a 3rd heaven sage. It was too unbelievable. The others also noticed this point and were dumbfounded. Why do I remember that when this kid just entered the 9th heaven he was a 2nd heaven sage? Yes, and a 3rd heaven sage. After half a year he came out and was a 3rd heaven sage. Damn it, in less than a year he broke through a big realm. Everyone was going crazy. Chapter 3657. Thinking of this, the sage's eyes turned red. One had to know that they might not even be able to break through a small realm in a few hundred years. Some were even stuck for thousands of years. To break through a realm, it might not even be possible in a few thousand years. But now Lin Fan had done it in a year. It was unbelievable. Even the top 8 geniuses could not believe it. As the top 8 geniuses, they had strong bloodlines and were supported by big families. But even so, it was impossible for them to break through a realm in a year. Like Yu Qinya, he had spent a lot of effort and resources to achieve it, and he had only broken through a small realm. But now Lin Fan had broken through a realm in a year. Even the geniuses of the Holy City wouldn't be able to do that. Some of the older generation were also amazed. Lin Fan had broken through 2 realms in the 9th heaven. No wonder the lightning tribulation suddenly went berserk when it was about to disappear. That's right, Lin Xian had broken through 2 realms in a row, and finally became a 3rd heaven sage. He had a confident smile on his face as he looked around. This was great. This time, not to mention whether he could become a disciple of the Holy City, just this breakthrough alone was enough to make him ecstatic. After becoming a 3rd heaven sage, his strength had undergone an earth-shattering change. He looked down, and when he saw Di Ling and Gui Li, his lips curled into a disdainful smile. If these two people made him wary before, he would have to deal with them with all his might. But now he did not take them to heart. Damn it. Di Ling and Gui Li saw Lin Xian's expression, and their faces darkened. They were actually looked down on by him. This was infuriating. At this time, the elder from Wushuang City stood up and said loudly, "All right, the first round of the test is over. Everyone who has successfully reached the 9th heaven, follow me. You will proceed to the next round of the test." After saying that, those who had succeeded rose into the air and flew forward quickly. Shen Jingqiu was the first to come to Lin Xian's side, and her eyes were sparkling. "Big brother Lin, you're so cool." Di Ling, Gui Li and the rest also came over. They looked at Lin Xian and their eyes were filled with cold light. "Brat, don't be complacent. Don't be too arrogant. The 9 heavens is not all about strength. Otherwise, do you think you can reach the top?" "That's right, that's what I wanted to say as well. Your good days are over. Because you have already angered me and no one can step on my head. You can't do it either." Di Ling looked at Lin Xian, his eyes filled with killing intent. "In the second stage I will let you know what true strength is. Don't think that just because you've comprehended some laws, you can compare to me. You're still far from it." The onlookers in the distance were extremely shocked when they saw this scene. Heaven, Ghostly and Di Ling were all eyeing this kid. The second stage would be even more intense. That was for sure. The first stage tested one's talent, bloodline and comprehension of the great Tao. He let that kid take the lead. But if they really fought, that brat was absolutely not Di Ling's match. Di Ling had many trump cards in his hands. Not to mention the sacred weapon, he had a bronze coffin hidden in his body. Once that thing came out, how could that brat block it? Indeed, if it was a duel, no one thought that Lin Xian could defeat Di Ling. Jilian could not even defeat Ghostly. After all, Ghostly also had a sacred weapon. At this time, Yu Qinya also jumped out. He also laughed sinisterly. "Brat, I won't let you off either. In a real fight, you're also not my match." He was really mad. Previously, the other party made him collapse and despair. Only now did he recover. He swore that as long as there was a chance, he would not hesitate to kill the other party. The other party was now a 3rd heaven saint, but he was still a realm lower than him. It seemed that this brat had offended many people. Fu Hongye narrowed his eyes. Linghu Chueshua laughed. "No matter, competition is a good thing. Bring them to the next stage." As he said that, the surrounding Wushuang City disciples quickly came to the void and each took a side. Their palms formed a seal and they formed a teleportation array. They brought these people and disappeared into the sky. Did they leave? The onlookers below were in an uproar. It seemed that the second stage was not held here. It was held somewhere else. They could not watch anymore. However, these people did not leave. They all set up camp. They wanted to wait. Wait until the final result was out. After all, the result was very important to every force and family. After the array flickered and the light disappeared, Lin Xian and the others found that they had already arrived at another place. There were buildings and streets all around. It seemed that they had arrived at a city. Someone screamed. Could it be that they had already arrived at Wushuang City? That's right. A Wushuang City disciple said that they had indeed arrived at Wushuang City. Then he briefly explained Wushuang City. After hearing that, the others were shocked. Lin Xian was also surprised. A holy city was as big as 2 worlds. It was really shocking. Not only that, there were countless subsidiary worlds under Wushuang City. It was very enviable. In this assessment, we will accept 3 types of disciples. The best are the core disciples. There are not many of them, a total of 72 people. The quota is fixed. Therefore, you can only become a core disciple if you fight for the top 72. The treatment of the core disciples is very good. It is definitely not inferior to the patriarchs and sect masters of the outside world. Moreover, it is the most central power of Wushuang City. The direct disciples of the Holy King will be selected from the core disciples. This time, the first place will be taken by the eldest disciple. He is the one with the highest status among the 3rd-generation disciples. He is also the one who is most likely to become a direct disciple. If you have the strength, try your best. Don't miss this opportunity. Below the core disciples are the ordinary disciples. Their treatment is not as good as the core disciples, but it is better than the elders of the outside world. Don't worry. Hearing that, countless people's eyes lit up. The forces of the outside world, such as the Rain clan, were all big families. However, it was still not comparable to the treatment of the Rain clan's elders in Wushuang City. One could imagine how terrifying Wushuang City's strength was. It was no wonder that so many big families wanted to send their disciples in. Of course, not everyone could become an ordinary disciple. If they failed the second assessment, they could only become a nominal disciple. Nominal disciples were not real disciples of the holy city. They had to be assessed again in a few months. As long as they passed the assessment, they could be promoted to an ordinary disciple. If they failed the assessment 3 times, they would completely lose their qualification and leave the holy city. Hearing that, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Heavens, there was the danger of being eliminated. They thought that after passing the first assessment and ascending to the first layer of heaven, they could become an ordinary disciple. Who would have thought that it was not so simple? Chapter 3658. This time, Wuxia City's assessment had gathered the elites of countless worlds. There were about a few 100 million people participating, and only about 10,000 people could step into the first heaven. Among these 10,000 people, only 72 of them were core disciples. It was uncertain how many ordinary disciples there would be left. Moreover, there could be vacancies among the core disciples. For example, if only 30 people met the requirement, then there would only be 30 core disciples. The remaining positions would all be empty and would not be inherited by the weak. Was that cruel? I wonder what the second round is about? Sherbuffon asked. Everyone else was curious as well. After saying so much, they were most concerned about what the second round was about. Wuxia City doesn't care about your current cultivation level or strength. What we care about is your talent. This includes innate talent such as bloodline and physique. There are also some acquired talents such as strong will, comprehension of special laws, and comprehension of the great Tao. As long as you are a genius, we will accept you. Therefore, the second round is still about you. We will bring you to a place called the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. It is a very special place. The Copper Sparrow Pavilion is a world of laws created by the Sage King. Inside, your cultivation level will be suppressed and you will be suppressed to the first heaven. Everyone will be suppressed to the first heaven of the Sage King to ensure fairness. Moreover, you will not be able to use your own divine powers. You can only use the martial arts in the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. This way we will test your talent and see who can cultivate the divine powers the best in the same amount of time. The second round is actually like this. Everyone gasped. They originally thought that they would have to fight in the arena. They didn't expect that it would be so special that they would go to the small world created by the Sage King. There were a total of 12 heavenly steels, 36 earthly steels, and 108 Shen steels. Then what is the basis? Is it the ranking of the first round? Someone asked. As soon as this was said, everyone became nervous. If it was really based on the ranking, then the people who fell behind would suffer. The elder shook his head. It's not based on the ranking. Don't worry, Wuxia City will give you the greatest fairness. Everyone can freely choose the divine powers on these steels to cultivate and the time is the same. However, don't think that the ranking is not important. There were a total of 3 rounds. The total ranking of the 3 stages would be the final ranking, and each stage would have a specific reward. The first place of each stage will be given a leaf of Tao Comprehension Tea. As for the others, they were all ranked according to their rankings. These rewards would be given out at the end of the 3 tests. The leaf of the Tao Comprehending Tea. Heavens, he was actually so generous. Many people's eyes turned red. These people were all young masters in their respective families, but they didn't have the chance to obtain the Tao Comprehension Tea leaves. Not to mention them, even their family heads didn't have the chance to obtain it. That was because this item was simply too precious. The amount was very small, and it would be divided among countless holy cities. Each holy city would not get much. These 3 might have been left behind after thousands of years of accumulation. Now, they actually wanted to use such treasures as rewards. It really provoked these people. Lin Xian was equally surprised. How could there be such a good thing? He had already experienced the Enlightenment tea leaves once before. That time he had directly advanced by 2 small realms, reaching the 3rd heavenly layer. Unexpectedly, there was still more. These 3 leaves of Tao Comprehension Tea must be mine. Lin Xian's eyes burst with an extremely cold light. The others were also incomparably excited. Di Ling was ambitious. Although I fell behind in the first round, I must obtain the second and third round. Tao Comprehension Tea leaves? How surprising. I'll accept such a good thing. The corner of Ghost Li's mouth raised into a smile. In addition, although Shi Bufan, Shi Sui Tianqing and the others did not say anything, it was obvious that they were also determined to obtain it. Soon, everyone arrived at the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. The Copper Sparrow Pavilion was as tall as an ancient building. Everyone knew that it was a world of its own. Sure enough, after entering, they found that it was much wider inside, as if it was a world of its own. Indeed, their cultivation was completely suppressed by the laws of heaven and earth here, and they couldn't use their other divine abilities. Damn, they couldn't even use their bloodline power. The laws of heaven and earth here were really amazing. It seemed that they could only use their newly learned divine abilities. Everyone was surprised. This was indeed fair enough. In terms of talent, none of you are my opponent. Di Ling snorted coldly. His cultivation was the highest and he was the strongest. It was enough to show that his talent was strong. Ghostly sneered. Is that so? That might not be the case. Don't be trampled under my feet when the time comes. The others also clenched their fists, especially those who were ranked at the bottom. If they really fought according to actual combat, they had no hope. But now, everyone was at the same starting line, they might have a chance. They heard that there were 12 divine steels. Go quickly, they must learn the divine abilities on the divine steels. The divine abilities there were the strongest. Many people ran forward. With more than 10,000 people, it didn't seem crowded at all. Instead, it was a little spacious. Sure enough, there were many stone steels around. There were 12 shining with golden light. They were divine steels. 36 shining with purple light. They were earthly steels. 108 shining with blue light. They were mystic steels. There were indeed martial divine abilities on these stone steels, but they were all different. Some were very detailed, some were just a few strokes as if they could only be understood but not explained. There were all kinds of strange divine abilities. You have 3 months to comprehend it. After 3 months you will begin the battle. Those who succeed will advance to the next stage of the test. Those who fail will be disqualified. They will be classified as honorary disciples. After half a year you will be tested again. The voice rang between heaven and earth. Everyone's expression changed drastically. What? Failure means disqualification. How could it be like this? Everyone went crazy. Previously they were full of confidence and wanted to become core disciples. But now there was a problem. That was, the person who failed would immediately become an in-name disciple. This was really too unbelievable. One must know that with more than 10,000 people, at least half of them would be eliminated. It was really too cruel. Alright, as for the specific rules of the battle, we will talk about it after 3 months. Now, you should hurry up and think about how to cultivate your divine abilities in these 3 months. 4 Wuxia city martial artists also followed in. They were fighting on one side and it seemed like they were guarding the order. Hurry up and comprehend. Everyone was in a hurry. Because from this moment on, time had already started counting down. They only had 3 months. Everyone definitely rushed towards the 12 divine steels. Because the divine steels were the least, martial divine abilities were the most precious. Guili, Di Ling and the others were also very fast. They rushed to the front like flowing light. They each occupied a divine steels and observed. Get lost. Di Ling roared. The aura on his body exploded, causing the surrounding people to be unable to breathe. Chapter 36:59. Although everyone's cultivation was suppressed, Di Ling's name was deeply imprinted in their minds. Hence they could not help but take a step back. Trash, like you think you have the right to comprehend the sky steel with me? Get lost, or I'll kill you. Di Ling's voice was cold and filled with killing intent. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. It's over. What they were most worried about had happened. If the 8 sky prides joined forces to seal the sky steel, no one else would have the right to comprehend it. Indeed, the other sky prides also rushed towards the sky steel and occupied one of the sky steels. Yu Qinya let out a sinister laugh as he abruptly turned around and shot Lin Xian a glance. That's great. If he could join forces with Di Ling and the others to suppress Lin Xian, he would not be able to cultivate the sky steel. Then they would definitely win the second round. Countless people were shocked by the scene. They looked at Lin Xian and wanted to see what Lin Xian would do. Because Lin Xian was not one of the 8 sky prides. Instead, he was enemies with some of the 8 sky prides. If Lin Xian were to take action, they could help him. At least, they could not let the 8 sky prides be so arrogant. Xin Jingqiu said the same thing. Damn it, these guys are too evil. They actually joined forces to seal the sky steel. Brother Lin, let's do it together. Lin Xian smiled. Don't be anxious. Didn't I say it before? The second round is absolutely fair. Do you think they can do it without breaking the rules? Indeed, a Wuxia city martial artist shouted coldly from afar. Anyone can comprehend the sky steel, no one is allowed to occupy it. Those who dare to violate the rules will be expelled and disqualified. Once he said that, the crowd was in an uproar. Many people were excited. Great. As for the 8 sky prides such as Yu Qinya and Di Ling, their faces turned ugly. Damn it, there was such a condition. They were not willing to accept it. However, they did not dare to take action. If they dared to go against the Wushuang city people, they would be expelled immediately. So what if they could comprehend it? The divine ability on the heavenly steel was not something that anyone could comprehend. Di Ling sneered. Ghost Li also raised a ferocious smile. Yu Qinya gritted his teeth. What a pity. This was originally a great opportunity to deal with Lin Xian, but who would have thought that it would be instantly neutralized? Quickly go and comprehend it. The surrounding saints all rushed forward and began to choose their own sky steels. Lin Xian and Xin Jingqiu also left in the morning. Kid, I'll let you know how powerful I am. Just you wait, in 3 months I will make you kneel and beg for mercy. Yu Qinya gritted his teeth while Lin Xian waved his hand impatiently. What were they shouting for? If they had the time, they might as well spend it on comprehending the stone tablets. Right now, he didn't place Yu Qinya in his eyes at all. It could even be said that he was ignoring the other party. Damn it. I'm so angry. The other party's indifferent expression made Yu Qinya so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. However, now was not the time to make a move. He could only grit his teeth and look at the divine ability on the heavenly steel. Lin Xian also glanced at the 12 heavenly steels with a solemn expression. One had to admit that the divine abilities on the 12 heavenly steels were indeed powerful. There were close combat, long-range attacks, swords, fists and legs. There was a type of each type and there was even an eye technique. However, it wasn't that easy to comprehend because these divine abilities were too simple. There were only a few strokes. One would only know what divine ability it was at first glance, but if one wanted to cultivate it, they wouldn't be able to figure it out. For a moment, everyone's eyes flickered and they began to ponder seriously. Xin Jingqiu frowned. Why couldn't she understand it? This wasn't something that could be comprehended in a short period of time. The 12 heavenly steels recorded the top divine abilities. It was too difficult to learn it in 3 months. Lin Xian shook his head. He wasn't in a hurry to cultivate it. He wanted to understand it more thoroughly. Then he looked at the 36 earthly steels. These 36 earthly steels also recorded exquisite divine abilities. Looking at the power, it seemed to be weaker than the 12 heavenly steels. However, it was more detailed than the 12 heavenly steels. At least it was enough to make people scratch their heads. Next, Lin Xian looked at the 18 heavenly steels. This time, the divine abilities recorded on them were very detailed. Every step was recorded. Martial artists could follow the instructions and cultivate step by step. The 3 types of stone steels were different. They had different powers and the difficulty of cultivation was also different. The time was also specific. It was only 3 months. Then, in these 3 months, the most important thing wasn't to occupy the divine abilities on the heavenly steels, but to increase one's combat strength as much as possible. In this way, there would be a problem of distribution. It seemed that the second stage wasn't that simple. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. He now understood that the second stage wasn't just testing one's talent, it was also testing one's choice. 10,000 people facing such a scene had 10,000 choices. How to choose to maximize one's combat strength. There was a lot of knowledge in this. Were there any connections between the 3 types of stone steels? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He found a sword technique and looked at it on the heavenly steels. One of the sword techniques was called Sword of 100 Battles. This was a very mysterious sword technique. It could transform into various demonic beasts and terrifying heavenly anomalies to fight. It was a bit similar to the evolution of the Great Dragon Sword Soul. However, the Great Dragon Sword Soul could transform into anything. As for the Sword of 100 Battles, it could only transform into specific things to fight. Lin Xian took a look and realized that it could transform into 15 different demonic beasts. Each of them was extremely terrifying. Then, he looked for a similar divine ability on the 36 earthly steels. This divine ability was called Psychic Hand. It could instantly set up some formations and then attack with the help of laws. This was a palm technique. The formation on the palm would obtain some characteristics of the demonic beasts. For example, it would be extremely strong or extremely soft. Lin Xian realized that this psychic hand was somewhat similar to the Sword of 100 Battles. Then he began to look at the 12 heavenly steels. The 12 heavenly steels were very simple. It seemed to contain the simplicity of the Great Tao. It was impossible to understand. However, Lin Xian could still see some things clearly. For example, he saw one of the heavenly steels. There were only 3 Dao patterns carved on it. However, Lin Xian seemed to be able to see that it was a person summoning something from heaven and earth. It seemed to be something like a soul. In this way, Lin Xian felt that it was somewhat similar to the previous 2 divine abilities. It could be said that it was an upgraded version. There was indeed some connection. He narrowed his eyes. In this way, if he wanted to cultivate the divine ability on the heavenly steels, he could first cultivate the heavenly steels and the earthly steels. Then, he could cultivate the divine ability on the heavenly steels. After thinking about this point, Lin Xian took a deep breath. He was ready to take action. He transmitted his voice to Shen Jingqiu and told Shen Jingqiu about these things. After Shen Jingqiu heard, she was also surprised. Was this true? He looked around and found that there was indeed some connection. In that case, let's hurry up and cultivate. The 2 of them walked towards the 108 Shen steels. Chapter 3660. At this moment, everyone was trying their best to cultivate the divine ability on the heavenly steel. Even the earthly steel was rarely visited. As for Lin Xian and Shen Jingqiu, they actually squeezed through the crowd and walked towards the Shen steel. This scene shocked countless people. No way, isn't that Lin Wuti and the holy goddess of the spirit clan Jingqiu? Why did they leave? Don't they want to comprehend the heavenly steel? No idea, could it be that they want to comprehend the earthly steel? The competition there is less. They looked carefully and realized that the 2 had walked past the earthly steel and arrived at the Shen steel. Instantly, these people went crazy. Heavens, they actually chose the Shen steel. How is this possible? The Shen steel looks like the weakest divine ability? These people simply couldn't understand what is Lin Wuti doing. And some other people sneered when they saw this. Yu Qinya snorted, idiot kid, he actually chose the trashy Shen steel, he really doesn't know his place. He was too excited. If Lin Xian chose the heavenly steel, then he would be under great pressure, but he chose the Shen steel. This way he had absolute confidence. 3 months later he could kill Lin Xian to his heart's content. After Guili saw this, he also sneered. Di Ling was even more disdainful. What Lin Wuti, he doesn't even have the courage to choose the heavenly steel, he probably knows that he doesn't have the talent to comprehend it. What a joke. If he is like this, I can kill him with 1 hand in the 2nd round. Di Ling was also very ambitious. In his opinion, Lin Xian should know that he couldn't comprehend the heavenly steel, so he chose the easiest Shen steel. Shi Bufan, Shi Sui Tianqin, Wang Xiaofeng and the others were also puzzled. It shouldn't be, Lin Wuti is very strong, they all know, why did he choose the Shen steel? Could it be that there is another mystery? Wang Xiaofeng said to Shi Sui Tianqin, not knowing what he is doing, not knowing what he found. But I won't leave, my eye of Shi Sui can be used here, I want to comprehend it more efficiently than others. These top experts didn't leave because they had absolute confidence in themselves. With the best things available, why would they settle for the second best? The 4 warriors from Wushuang City who were standing in 4 different directions were surprised when they saw this scene. Could it be that this brat had found out? They were also looking forward to seeing how the peerless genius who had set a new record in the 1st round would perform in the 2nd round. Lin Xian arrived in front of the 108 Shen tablets. He chose the Sword of 100 Battles because this sword technique and the Great Dragon Sword Spirit simulation effect were very similar. If he wanted to cultivate, it would definitely be a piece of cake. Chiu, these 3 stone steels are all connected to one another. Choose a cultivation technique that you like and cultivate accordingly. The effect should be very good. After saying that, Lin Xian began to cultivate. Shen Jingqiu nodded, she also chose a cultivation technique to cultivate. Needless to say, the sword technique that Lin Xian chose was very suitable for him. Soon, he finished cultivating and stood up with a smile on his face. Next, it was time to comprehend the psychic hand. Lin Xian looked at the 36 earthly tablets and started to comprehend. The heavenly tablets were still very lively, but after a few days some people collapsed. No, I can't comprehend it at all. Yes, it's too difficult. They felt that they couldn't figure out the direction, some people were going crazy. Some people felt that they had to change their strategy, so they gave up on the heavenly tablets and started to cultivate the 36 earthly tablets. There were also some people who insisted that they would be able to comprehend it after a while. But after a month, most of them were in despair. They now knew that the heavenly tablets weren't easy to comprehend. If they continued to waste time, they probably wouldn't be able to learn a single divine ability. If that happened, they wouldn't be able to fight at all. They would only be beaten up. Therefore, these people retreated one after another. Some of them chose the 36 earthly monuments, and some of them even wanted to start cultivating the 108 Shen monuments like Lin Xian. However, there were a few people in front who didn't move. They were the other 7 of the 8 great prodigies. There were also 5 people who weren't part of the 8 great prodigies. These people were very confident in themselves. They stood in front of the heavenly tablets and continued to comprehend. Although these people's faces were very serious, they didn't look good. It was obvious that they didn't make much progress. But they believed that once they comprehended a move or two, their power would definitely surpass everyone else. Another half a month passed. Lin Xian stood up. He had mastered the psychic hand. Next, he needed to comprehend the heavenly tablets. It was the summoning divine ability that he had seen before. Thinking of this, he walked forward. Lin Xian's arrival shocked everyone. What was going on? Lin Wudi came to the heavenly tablets again. Could it be that he wanted to comprehend the heavenly tablets? God, he didn't want to comprehend it at first. Now that there was only 1.5 months left, could he comprehend it completely? Everyone was shocked. Then they shook their heads and ignored him. They couldn't understand Lin Xian's actions at all. The only one who understood was probably Xin Jingqiu. At this moment, Xin Jingqiu was also comprehending one of the 36 earthly tablets. She would soon master it, probably in another 3 to 5 days. She would also go to the heavenly tablets. Lin Xian came to the heavenly tablet and sat down cross-legged. He started to comprehend it. His arrival surprised the geniuses on the side of the sky steel. Why was this brat here again? Shui Tianqin and the others were confused. Yu Qinya snorted. Humph, you don't know what's good for you. Do you have time to comprehend it completely? In his opinion, it was a waste of time. Di Ling's eyes were filled with disdain. Lin Xian was trying to comprehend the same heavenly tablet as him. Was he looking for death? That's good too. When the time came, he would use the same superpower to torture Lin Xian to death. Time passed slowly. The people in the heavenly tablets tried their best to comprehend as many superpowers as possible. Some of them even started to comprehend the earthly tablet's superpower. However, the people in the heavenly tablets didn't move at all, because it was already good enough for them to comprehend one heavenly tablet in 3 months. Finally, another 1.5 months passed. 3 months had passed. On this day, a voice was heard. Then, a martial artist from Wuxia City said that the time was up and no one was allowed to comprehend it. As soon as he said that, the heavenly tablets shone brightly and nothing could be seen anymore. Sigh. Many people sighed. They hadn't comprehended enough yet. This was a great opportunity for them to learn Wuxia City's superpower. However, they had no choice. The time was up and they couldn't comprehend it anymore. The 8 great sky prides stood up as well. They looked extremely solemn. The 3 months of comprehension was indeed a unique experience for them. They had never comprehended such a magical superpower in such a tense situation. They wondered how powerful it would be in the end. Chapter 3661. Brat, don't ever meet me, or I will make you wish you were dead. Yu Qinya's eyes were filled with killing intent. This time he was absolutely confident. He believed that the divine art he unleashed would be able to kill his opponent. Finally, it was time for revenge. He wanted to prove to everyone that he was the genius, and his opponent was just a lucky trash. Ghostly looked at Lin Xian and smiled coldly. Di Ling snorted. The first place of this round will definitely be me. You are not my opponent at all. The last time he was surpassed by Di Ling, it was the greatest humiliation of his life. So this time, no matter what, he had to step on Di Ling. The others felt their scalps go numb. It seemed that the 8 geniuses were really confident. He wondered what kind of power the divine ability they comprehended would have. At this time, 4 Wuxia City warriors walked out and said coldly, "All right, the test will begin now. Follow me." They left the area where the stone tablet was and came to another area. This area was very spacious, and it was still within the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. The test this time was very simple. You can choose your opponent and you can only fight one-on-one. Those who succeed will advance to the next round, and those who fail will be eliminated and immediately become an in-name disciple. However, although it was a one-on-one battle, the winner can continue to fight with others. Everyone can fight at least once and at most 5 times. You should understand, right? Hearing this, many people's faces changed. What? You can fight 5 people in a row? Their expressions were filled with fear. If Di Ling was an expert like him, he would be able to defeat 5 people. That meant that 5 people would be eliminated. Damn it, this way even half of the people would not be able to stay. Previously, they thought that the elimination rate was only 50%, but now it seemed that it was not so. If an expert was ruthless enough to join forces, most of the people would be eliminated. The originally cruel situation had now become even more cruel. Yuqinya, Ghostly, Di Ling and the others all revealed a sinister smile. It was great to be able to challenge 5 people. Yuqinya was the first to jump out, staring at Lin Xian. Kid, come and die. I will ruthlessly step on you under my feet. Lin Xian shook his head. I refuse. Fight with them? What kind of joke was this? He wasn't interested at all. Yuqinya spat out a mouthful of blood. Rejected. Damn it, he actually looked down on him. Brat, are you a man or not? Fight me if you have the guts. You're too weak. I'm not interested. Lin Xian still shook his head. Fuck, I'm going to kill you. I'll definitely kill you. Yuqinya had completely lost his mind. He was too weak. Not interested? Damn brat, what are you pretending for? He was a 4th heavenly layer sage. Even though he was suppressing his cultivation state right now, he had comprehended the mystic skills on the heaven steel. He could definitely take down the other party. The surrounding people's mouths twitched. They didn't expect Lin Xian to directly reject them. He really didn't give them any face. Brat, if you don't dare, then quickly kneel down and kowtow to me. With me as your superior, I can consider sparing your life. Yuqinya was extremely arrogant. Lin Xian finally sighed. I've rejected you twice, which is equivalent to saving your life twice. I've given you 2 chances. However, you didn't cherish them and even dared to provoke me. Since you want to be eliminated so badly, fine, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian walked out and the others retreated. The 4 peerless city martial artists formed a seal with their palms, forming an array in the arena. Then they stood on one side. There was only one rule and that was no killing. Alright, it's starting now. Yuqinya, you should feel lucky that the rule here is that no killing is allowed. Otherwise, if you fought with me, I'm afraid you would die 10 times in a second. Damned brat, don't be so arrogant. Go to hell. Yuqinya was really mad. The other party's previous disregard and the current disdain was something he, as a genius, couldn't tolerate. Heaven-piercing finger. He raised his finger and pointed forward. Suddenly the laws of heaven and earth surged and thunder roared. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. What kind of mystic skill is this? I know this is one of the mystic skills on the heaven steel. It's the heaven-piercing finger. Many people screamed. They had tried to comprehend the heaven-piercing finger before, but they couldn't comprehend it completely. They didn't expect Yuqinya to be so talented to be able to use the heaven-piercing finger. Even the other geniuses of the 8 great geniuses exclaimed in shock. This Yuqinya was incredible. If given a chance, he might be able to improve again. Oh, the mystic skill on the heaven steel? However, you haven't mastered it yet. Lin Xian sneered. He waved his hand and a sword made of laws appeared. He held the sword and slashed forward. Between heaven and earth, a terrifying sword chi filled the air. Everyone felt their bodies tremble. In the next moment, they saw the sword chi transform into a giant ice bear, roaring at the sky. It could freeze everything with a wave of its hand. What kind of sword technique is this? It's too terrifying. Many people were shocked. Some of the top geniuses were also shocked. There was no such technique on the heaven steel. Indeed, they had comprehended the heaven steel, but they didn't see such a sword technique. Suddenly, someone screamed. It's not one of the 12 heaven steels, it's one of the 10 Shen steels. I know, it's called the Sword of 100 Battles. What? The sword technique on the 108 Shen steels. Heavens, isn't that the weakest mystic skill? What is this Lin Wudi doing? He wants to use the mystic steel's mystic skill to fight against the heaven steel's mystic skill? Isn't this hitting a stone with an egg? Everyone went crazy. In their knowledge, the heaven steel's mystic skill was the strongest and the Shen steel's mystic skill was the weakest. The only thing that could fight against the heaven steel's mystic skill was another heaven steel's mystic skill. But now, Lin Wudi actually took out a mystic steel's mystic skill to fight against the heaven steel's mystic skill. Guili sneered. So he's an idiot. I wanted to play with him, but now I don't have any interest. Di Ling snorted. Such a person and I'm treating him as my opponent. What a joke. The first place of the second round will be mine. Yuqinya laughed loudly. He laughed until tears came out of his eyes. He doesn't know what's good for him. He dares to fight against me with such a mystic steel's mystic skill? His eyes were filled with killing intent. Even if he couldn't kill his opponent, he had to severely injure him. He wanted to torture his opponent until he wished he was dead. The heaven-piercing finger was extremely terrifying. It was as if it could pierce a hole in the sky. It was too easy to kill his opponent. But in the next moment he was stunned. Not only him but everyone else was also stunned. The ice aura on the ice field giant bear directly sealed the heaven-piercing finger. Not only that, the ice-field giant bear rushed over with its powerful physique and directly slammed into Yuchinya's body. Bang! Yuchinya was pushed back. With a bang, a huge crack spread. Yuchinya was also pushed back. He spat out blood and a thick layer of frost appeared on his body. Chapter 3662. What? Yuchinya was pushed back and the surrounding people were stunned. How was that possible? The Mystic Tablet Divine Ability had fought against the Divine Tablet Divine Ability and won. Could it be that Lin Wuti had the ability to turn something rotten into something magical? Damn it, what the hell was Yuchinya doing? Guili frowned. Dealing sneered. Don't worry, that was just the first move. Maybe Yuchinya was careless, but if he got serious, that kid would definitely die. Yuchinya stopped in his tracks. His face was terrifyingly gloomy, and his handsome face had turned malevolent. Damn it, how dare you hurt me? I'll kill you. Careless, he was indeed careless. He thought that his opponent's divine ability was weak, but he did not expect his opponent to have some tricks up his sleeves. Kid, you're not bad to be able to cultivate the Mystic Tablet Divine Ability to such a level, but this is your upper limit. My Divine Tablet Divine Ability is not something you can compare to. I'll definitely kill you with my next move. Next move? You still want to kill me? What a joke. I'll defeat you with this move, and you'll be eliminated and become an honorary disciple. Lin Xin's lips curled up in disdain. From the beginning he had never thought of Yuchinya as an opponent. The others felt their scalps go numb when they heard that. That move was enough to defeat Yuchinya? Indeed, it was not over yet. The Sword of 100 Battles could transform into 15 types of beasts, and the move would only be over when the beasts disappeared. Someone who had cultivated the same sword skill quickly explained. When the others heard this, they understood that the Icefield Giant Bear was still there, which meant that this move was not over yet. Could it be that Lin Wuti wanted to use this move to defeat one of the 8 great prodigies? You still want to defeat me? Dream on. Yuchinya was really mad. He waved his finger and it was like a heavenly sword piercing through the sky. The heaven-breaking finger was once again used, and it was surrounded by terrifying laws and the power of heaven and earth. Shred, shred, shred. Lin Xin waved his sword and roared 3 times. Suddenly, the giant bear in front of him went berserk. His body grew twice as big as a mountain, and the icy aura around him became even more terrifying. With a wave of the bear's paw, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. Streaks of spatial energy shot out one after another, filling the air. He roared, his eyes completely red as he attacked Yuchinya. Yuchinya's heaven-breaking finger directly hit the head of the Icefield Giant Bear, shattering its skull. However, this was not a real demonic beast. Instead, it was formed from a sword chi. Although it had lost its head, it was still capable of attacking. His bare paw ruthlessly slapped Yuchinya's body, causing Yuchinya to vomit blood. Damn it, block it for me. Yuchinya clenched his teeth and roared. However, in the Copper Sparrow Pavilion, he was unable to use some of his abilities and physique. He could only rely on the heaven-piercing finger to defend himself. However, before he could unleash the 3rd heaven-piercing finger, his body was torn apart. Saintly blood gushed out madly, and he screamed in pain as he flew backwards. Miserable cries rang out, making people's scalps go numb. Everyone was stunned. Silence reigned between heaven and earth. What did they see? Yuchinya was defeated. He had really lost. He was defeated by a single sword strike. Lin Wuti was too strong. One sword strike, using the Xian Monument's divine ability to defeat the Tian Monument's divine ability, this was a heaven-defying move. At this moment, the 8 great geniuses all gasped for breath. Those who were comprehending the innate techniques of the heavenly steel all had extremely heavy expressions on their faces. If they encountered this sword, would they be able to withstand it? What was going on with this Lin Wuti? Some of the people who were comprehending the Sword of 100 Battles were terrified. What was going on? Was the sword art they had comprehended so powerful? One had to know that even a 10th of their strength would be considered formidable. However, why was Lin Wuti able to display such a powerful might? Could it be that this was the difference in talent? Thinking of this, their faces were filled with despair. The 4 warriors from Wushuang City were also surprised. Their eyes shone with a strange light. As expected of Lin Wuti, as expected of the heaven-defying monster who set the record for the first trial. To be able to display the power of the Sword of 100 Battles to such an extent, he was probably the only one. A person walked out and said in a deep voice. In this battle, Lin Wuti had won and Yuchinya had lost. He had been eliminated and was now an in-name disciple. Oh, damn it. I haven't lost. I still have the strength to fight. No. You can't do this to me. Wuxia screamed like a madman. He had been eliminated and was now an unnamed disciple? What a joke. He was one of the 8 great geniuses and he had the confidence to win this round. But now he had actually lost. If he went out, how could he face the others? He still wanted to struggle, but the people from Wuxia City waved their sleeves and formed an array to teleport Wuxia away. Those who had lost were not qualified to be here. Outside the Copper Sparrow Pavilion, Wuxia's figure appeared. His broken body had healed in an instant. The suppression of his cultivation base was gone and he had completely recovered his cultivation base of a level 4 sage. With a roar, heaven and earth shook. I can't accept this. He really couldn't accept this. But what could he do? It was not his turn to behave atrociously here. If he did not follow the rules, the people from Wuxia City would kill him instantly. Damn it, that kid will definitely be eliminated. Not only did he offend me but he also offended Di Ling. With Di Ling's means and thoughts he would definitely eliminate him. Wuxia calmed down. He wanted to see that kid being eliminated with his own eyes. Only then could he vent the hatred in his heart. Inside the Copper Sparrow Pavilion, everyone was still in a state of great shock. They did not expect that one of the 8 great geniuses would be eliminated in such a way. Lin Xian kept his sword of laws and relaxed his shoulders. I already said that he was not my opponent and I had already spared him twice. But this kid is courting death, you can't blame me. Everyone's mouth twitched. Who would have thought that you were telling the truth? They all thought that you were just pretending. Who would have thought that you were so powerful? For a moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian with a strange expression. Shi Bufan, Zi Tiancheng and the others' mouths twitched. To be honest, they had also planned to challenge Lin Wudi, but now it seemed that they should forget about it. If they did not handle it well, they might be eliminated directly. That would be a huge loss of face. Wuxia was an idiot. He was not strong enough and could not comprehend it, but it did not mean that the Divine Steel's ability was not powerful. At this moment Di Ling spoke. He was also comprehending the Divine Steel's ability, so he naturally had to protect the power of the Divine Steel. Yes, that's right. Wuxia did not comprehend the essence of the Divine Steel's ability. A few people agreed. Oh, so you have comprehended the essence of the Divine Steel's ability? Why don't you fight with me? Let me see how far you have comprehended it. Lin Xian stared at Di Ling. This person had also provoked him time and time again. If there was a chance, he would not mind eliminating him in advance. Thank you for your recommendation, monthly votes and rewards. 5th update. Please support me. Chapter 3663. Lin Xian stared at Di Ling, ready to eliminate him. Everyone was excited. They did not expect that Lin Xian would fight with Di Ling first. The two of them would fight. If they fought, then one of them would be eliminated. It was unbelievable. Even Wang Xiaofeng and the people of Stillwater Sky City were shocked. To be honest, if there was no special hatred between the 8 geniuses, they would avoid this kind of elimination and try to enter the next round. Then they would fight for the ranking. But now Di Ling and Lin Xian were going to fight. I'm not afraid of you. I've been wanting to eliminate you for a long time. Di Ling also stood out. He was very unhappy that Lin Xian got first place in the first round. Now Lin Xian dared to provoke him. This made him feel that Lin Xian was dead meat. Kid, you think you can be arrogant in front of me just because you defeated Wuxia? You're too naive. Wuxia, that trash, didn't understand much of the essence. I'll tell you, I'm the most heaven-defying one. The Divine Steel's divine ability that I comprehended is definitely not something you can imagine. Don't be so full of yourself, otherwise when you're eliminated you'll only be slapped in the face. Lin Xian sneered. The others retreated, leaving only the two of them. At this moment, more than 10,000 people were completely excited. They were about to witness a shocking battle. What kind of divine ability did the two of them comprehend? Did Lin Wudi know how to use such a low-level divine ability? No, Lin Wudi, other than the Sword of 100 Battles, he also comprehended the Divine Steel's divine ability, but the time he spent on it was very short, only a month. And the Divine Steel's divine ability that he comprehended was the same as Di Ling's. Hearing this, the crowd was shocked. The two of them comprehended the same divine ability. This was too unbelievable, but the time difference between the two of them was twice as long. Lin Xian, was he Di Ling's opponent? Bus. Di Ling stood there. A terrifying aura of heaven and earth appeared on his body. His eyes were like lightning. The aura of the entire space became condensed. His palms formed a seal. A law flew out from his fingertips, and then he shouted. Boom. Boom. A large crack appeared in the sky, and then an illusory figure walked out of it. It was a headless warrior. He wore tattered armor and held a broken sword in his hand. His aura was unparalleled. Heavens, what is this thing? What kind of divine ability was this? Everyone went crazy. They didn't expect this. This was called the Spirit Summoning Incantation. It could be used to summon powerful heroic spirits from the void of the universe. Di Ling's cold voice was heard. The more profound one's cultivation was, the stronger the summoned spirit would be. Kid, let's see how you're going to compete with me. After he finished speaking, he shouted angrily. Another figure walked out. This was also a heroic spirit. He held a long saber in his hand, and his aura was unparalleled. The two heroic spirits circled around in the sky, carrying mountains of corpses and seas of blood. These two must have been incredible saints when they were alive. Even if he had been dead for so long, his heroic spirit could still be summoned. Brat, let's see how you can be compared to me. Di Ling's lips curled into a cold smile. He was very confident in himself. The people from Wuxia City frowned. They had to admit that Di Ling was very powerful. He could summon two heroic spirits in 3 months. How was Lin Wudi going to compete with him? Was he going to use the same spirit summoning incantation as Di Ling, or was he going to use the Sword of 100 Battles? Or was he going to use the Psychic Hand? Could he summon two heroic spirits? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Interesting. Looks like you're stronger than that trash Yu Qinya. Alright, I'll play with you. As he spoke, Lin Xian's fingers began to form a series of hand seals. In the next moment, his expression became serious. His eyes were like divine swords looking in all directions. He also knew the spirit summoning incantation. Crack, crack, crack. A large vortex appeared in the sky. Then an illusory figure appeared. It was a warhorse. Everyone was shocked. The first to walk out of the vortex was a warhorse. It was tall and big, and it was obviously a powerful beast. There was a person sitting on the warhorse. It was a horseman, a headless horseman. He held a long spear in his hand, and his murderous aura was unparalleled. Everyone was shocked to see this. After waiting for a long time, they were surprised to find that there was only a headless horseman riding a warhorse. Other than that, there was no one else. Could it be that Lin Wudi could only summon one of them? If so, how could Lin Wudi be Di Ling's opponent? Ah! Di Ling laughed arrogantly. You've really disappointed me. I didn't expect you to only summon one. With your strength, you dare to be arrogant in front of me? I advise you to obediently kneel down, kowtow, and admit your mistake. Di Ling's eyes were filled with disdain. 2 against 1, there was no way he would lose. Lin Xian shook his head and sighed. You're really arrogant. Do you really think you're going to win? Some things can't be decided by quantity. Is that so? You've only comprehended it for 1.5 months. Can you compare with me who comprehended it for 3 months? I'll let you die today. Di Ling sneered. The 2 heroic spirits he summoned quickly charged over. On the other side, the headless horseman rode a warhorse and charged at the same speed. The long spear in his hand pierced out. The void kept shattering and the heaven and earth kept rumbling. Everyone retreated. At the same time, they widened their eyes, not wanting to miss any details. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 heroic spirits charged out forcefully, causing the warhorse to neigh non-stop. However, the headless horseman's figure was very tall and straight. The long spear in his hand was like lightning. With one strike, the heaven and earth shattered. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe it. The 4 warriors from Wuxia City were even more shocked. How was this possible? Their faces were filled with shock. Di Ling was even more shocked. Impossible! He screamed. He found that the 2 heroic spirits he summoned were pierced through by the opponent's spear and nailed to the void. Boom! The long spear shook and directly tore the 2 heroic spirits apart. In the end, the 2 heroic spirits turned into spiritual energy and dissipated in the sky. Are the 2 heroic spirits very powerful? Do you really think that this matter can be won by quantity? I've said it before. You're no match for me. Lin Xian's cold voice sounded. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Lin Wudi was already so powerful. He only used 1.5 months to comprehend, and the heroic spirits he summoned were stronger than Di Ling in 3 months. It was really too unbelievable. Di Ling's face was filled with madness. His face was distorted. Impossible. I don't believe it. How can your talent be stronger than mine? He had completely collapsed. What the hell was going on? Chapter 3664. Those were the 2 hero spirits that he had summoned. They were so powerful, but they were destroyed by the other party in one blow. It was unbelievable. Was the other party really more talented than him? One of his hero spirits could defeat two of his hero spirits. I don't believe it. Di Ling formed a seal again, wanting to summon his hero spirits. At the same time he charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. With a wave of his hand, the headless horseman brandished his spear and slashed at Di Ling. This attack seemed to be able to split everything apart. Di Ling was shocked and quickly retreated. As soon as he left, a spatial crack appeared where he was standing. It was a shocking sight. One had to admit that the headless horseman was too powerful. In the Copper Sparrow Pavilion, with his cultivation suppressed, the headless horseman could kill anything in his way. Sure enough, after that, the Imperial Mausoleum was hunted down. He didn't have time to form a seal at all because the headless horseman was too fast and too powerful. If he delayed for a moment, his body would probably be pierced through. Damn it! Di Ling roared as he ran. He had never been chased by anyone before. The people around him were all stunned. Heavens, was this still Di Ling? Was this still the high and mighty place of the 8 prodigies? At this moment, Di Ling was in an extremely sorry state. He was like a stray dog that had nowhere to run. Buzz. Finally, the headless horseman exploded. The warhorse under his feet roared and turned into a stream of light. The spear in his hand directly enveloped Di Ling. Damn it. Block it from me. Di Ling roared, but the spear still pierced through his body. Drip, drip. Fresh blood flowed down the spear and fell into the void. It was like thunder, making people's hearts beat wildly. Di Ling was injured. He tried so hard to dodge, but he was still injured. It couldn't be helped. The headless horseman was too strong. If they were outside, his cultivation wouldn't be suppressed and he would be able to use his mystique. Di Ling wouldn't be injured. But here, under these rules, Di Ling couldn't resist. He felt his entire body go numb. This spear had made him lose the ability to fight. His eyes were burning as he screamed at the sky. Damn it. Lin Xian walked over and looked down at the other party. What, you're not convinced? We had a fair fight. What are you unhappy about? Indeed, everyone was silent. If Lin Xian had used a saint artifact or some other trump card to win, then they might not have been convinced. But now this was an absolutely fair environment. If he lost, then he lost. There was no excuse. Go to hell. Di Ling suddenly became furious. He waved his hand and a beam of light flew out. It was a chain of law. However, it was easily dodged by Lin Xian. What? You still want to plot against me? He didn't know the difference between life and death. With a cold snort, the headless horseman's spear trembled and directly shattered Di Ling's body into pieces. Everyone swallowed their saliva. This was already a serious injury, right? Di Ling screamed. If it weren't for the fact that I can't kill you, you would have died 1,000 times over by now. How dare you sneak attack me? Lin Xian stepped on Di Ling's head. The headless horseman's warhorse stepped on the dismembered body. Di Ling was so angry that he vomited blood. When had he ever been treated like this? This was humiliation. He was unwilling, but he really couldn't resist now. Damn brat. If we fought outside, you wouldn't be my opponent at all. Put away your pride. You are more than 1,000 years older than me. Of course you have the advantage outside. Moreover, you can borrow other powers. For example, the mysterious coffin in your body that doesn't belong to you. These don't represent your own power. Do you understand? Also, do you really think that you can beat me outside? You have a trump card, do you think I don't? Therefore don't be arrogant outside. Otherwise you will end up in a miserable state. As Lin Xian spoke, he stomped down hard on Di Ling's head, causing it to creak. Di Ling was so angry that he couldn't speak. He could only vomit blood to express his anger. The people of Wushuang City walked out and said loudly, "In this battle Lin Wudi won." Di Ling lost and was eliminated. He was now a registered disciple. With a wave of his hand, the array teleported Di Ling's body out. Looking at the blood on the ground, everyone felt numb. Di Mausoleum was defeated and eliminated. This was earth-shattering news, because they never thought that Di Ling would be defeated. One had to know that in countless people's guesses, Di Ling was the favorite to win the championship. But now, this favorite to win the championship was eliminated in the second round. Outside the Copper Sparrow Terrace, Wuxia was alone there, anxiously waiting. He guessed that Di Ling would make a move at this time, because Di Ling couldn't tolerate such a powerful person. Indeed, he felt the fluctuation of the void. Someone was teleported out. It seemed that someone was eliminated again. It must be that brat. Wuxia revealed a sinister smile. He secretly used his power, preparing to show his strength to his opponent. It would be best if he could injure him. In the next moment, a light flashed. His raised hand froze in midair. The sinister smile on his face also froze. Was Di Ling? How could it be? His heart was about to explode. Damn it, Di Ling came out. Was he eliminated like him? At this moment Yuchinya's mind was blank. In his opinion, Di Ling was the strongest and incomparable. No one could beat him. But now Di Ling was eliminated by someone else. Who was it? Could it be that brat did it? He couldn't believe it. As soon as Di Ling came out, he roared towards the sky. The late-stage level 4 power in his body instantly exploded. With a boom, Yuchinya was directly sent flying and vomited blood. Damn Lin Wudi. I will tear you into pieces. I will not rest until you die. Di Ling screamed crazily. The 9 heavens were collapsing and the earth was trembling. At this moment he was really angry. He couldn't wait to kill his way back to the Copper Sparrow Terrace and tear his opponent into pieces. Yuchinya stood up from afar, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. His face was full of fear. Lin Wudi, it was really Lin Wudi who did it? Damn it, what trick did this guy use to eliminate Di Ling as well? How did you lose? He leaned forward and asked. Di Ling turned his head, his eyes bursting with cold light, almost sending Yuchinya flying again. I did not lose. It was that brat who was despicable. If we stood outside I could kill him with one hand. Di Ling's murderous aura was too sharp. What bullsh *t fair battle. His strength was his strength. Where did the suppression of the laws come from? At this moment he was extremely dissatisfied with Peerless City. In the Copper Sparrow Terrace, everyone was still in a state of great shock and had yet to recover from the shock. Lin Xian took action twice and eliminated 2 of the 8 great prodigies. This scene made everyone's hair stand on end. One could imagine what kind of storm it would cause if this news spread out. Chapter 3665. Di Ling was finally eliminated. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Who would be next? He turned his gaze and wherever his gaze passed, those people would tremble in fear. Suddenly Lin Xian's gaze paused as he stared at Ghostly. The corners of his mouth curled up again. Ghostly took 2 steps back and laughed dryly. Young Master Lin must be tired after fighting twice. Why don't you take a break and let the others fight? Is that so? I'm not tired. The first time I killed a piece of trash with 1 move. The second time I let the spirit kill 0. I haven't even fought yet. Why don't you fight with me again? Ghostly was about to cry when he heard that. The others also gasped. Fuck, he wants to fight again. Does he want to fight all 5 rounds? If that's the case, a few more geniuses would be eliminated. Gui Li's expression became extremely ugly. His face was originally extremely pale. At this moment he was about to cry. He looked like a clown from hell. I don't think I've offended young Master Lin. Ghostly said with difficulty. Lin Xian smiled. You haven't offended me? Who was the one who cooperated with Di Ling and mocked me? Do you think I'm stupid? I'll give you a chance. Hurry up and fight. Otherwise don't blame me for being rude. Fuck this guy. Ghostly cursed in his heart. He didn't expect that Lin Xian would really fight him. Does he want to offend the 8 geniuses? However, he knew that he didn't threaten him anymore. Those who threatened Lin Xian, such as Di Ling and Yuchinya, ended up in a miserable state. If he continued to threaten him, it would be a fight to the death. Hence, he could only admit defeat and stand up. Alright, please enlighten me, young Master Lin. Ghostly stood up. His eyes were shining with a black light, and his body was surrounded by ghost energy. He seemed to have turned into a ghost from hell. Buzz. He appeared in front of Lin Xian in an instant. A black ghost sword appeared in his hand, and he stabbed towards Lin Xian's heart. What a fast speed. The surrounding people exclaimed. They didn't expect Ghostly to have such a movement skill when his cultivation was suppressed. Lin Xian was also surprised. It seemed that this Ghostly was really going all out from the start. His figure swayed, turning into a phantom as he dodged quickly. He dodged the sword, but the pitch-black sword was extremely terrifying. Beams of sword light enveloped him. This was the 9 nether sword art, a sword art of the heavenly monument. Someone screamed. It was the divine steel's divine ability again. How was Lin Xian going to block it? Ghost Li's speed was extremely fast and so was the 9 Serenity sword technique. He didn't give Lin Xian any chance at all. The others could also see that if Lin Xian didn't have a chance to summon his heroic spirit, it would be very dangerous. Because it was very difficult for other divine abilities to fight against Ghostly. Just when everyone thought that Lin Xian was about to be suppressed, Lin Xian let out a long roar. Instead of retreating, he charged forward. His hands split open the sky and collided with the 9 Serenity sword art. What? Was he crazy? Did that kid not want to live anymore? He actually wanted to use his physique to fight against the 9 Serenity Sword Art? Damn it, did he think that he was outside? If he was outside and his divine ability wasn't suppressed, then it might be possible to fight against the 9 Serenity Sword Art. But now, all of his divine abilities couldn't be used. Even his cultivation was suppressed to the first heaven. Would a first heaven sage dare to fight against such a sword art? They definitely wouldn't dare to. But Lin Xian was different. So what if he was suppressed to the first heaven? His divine body of the first heaven wasn't something that these people could imagine. So with a long roar, he directly faced it head-on. With a boom, his fist and the 9 Serenity Sword collided, producing a sonorous sound. The 9 Serenity Sword Art trembled from the impact, and Lin Xian kept retreating. What a terrifying sword art. He was shocked. However, he smiled. Because his chi and blood were tumbling, but he wasn't injured. What? How was that possible? Everyone who saw this scene went crazy. In their opinion, Lin Xian would definitely be cut in half by the sword. But Lin Xian was actually unharmed. What kind of physique was this? Was this the physique of a first heaven sage? They wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. Ghost Li's face also became ugly again. Previously, when he saw the other party charging recklessly, he thought that the other party was an idiot. Who would have thought that the other party's physique was far beyond his imagination? So after this attack, his arm was numb. Now he hadn't recovered yet. On the other side, Lin Xian used the illusory spirit spell, and the headless warrior was summoned by him again. Ghost Li's soul scattered. He didn't dare to fight against this knight, and could only look for an opportunity to attack Lin Xian. After dozens of moves, he was still swept in the back by the headless knight's spear. His whole body was directly blasted out, and he vomited large mouthfuls of blood. I admit defeat. Ghost Li directly admitted defeat because he knew that if they continued fighting, it would be difficult for him to win. Perhaps his outcome would be the same as Di Ling's, beaten to pieces. If not for Di Ling's battle, he might have fought with his life on the line. But when he saw that even Di Ling wasn't the other party's match, he completely gave up. This person was too monstrous. Ghost Li admitted defeat, and was directly eliminated, and became an in-name disciple. The array flickered and he was also transported out. The surrounding people were completely stunned. Ghost Li, an existence second only to Di Ling, was defeated at this moment. This Lin Wuti was really too strong. There was no good ending for going against the other party. Lin Xian attacked 3 times in a row, knocking 3 out of the 8 geniuses out of the way. The other party still had 2 chances. Would the other party still attack? The other few of the 8 great prodigies were also like facing a great enemy. They wanted to go against Lin Xian, but they had no chance of winning at all. However, Lin Xian didn't have the intention to attack again. He attacked 3 times because these 3 people provoked him one after another. Especially Yu Qinya and Di Ling, they both had killing intent towards him. He naturally wanted to eliminate such people. As for the others, he wasn't interested. In other words, these people were no longer a threat to him. Seeing that Lin Xian didn't attack, those experts such as Stillwater Sky City Shirbufan and the others, all heaved a sigh of relief. It was too terrifying. If the other party attacked, they were afraid that they would be in danger. Next, it was the others' turn. A few of the 8 great prodigies came over and discussed with Shen Jingqiu. They wouldn't fight each other and they would enter the next round together. Shen Jingqiu and the others didn't have any enmity, so they naturally agreed. Next, it was the battle between the others. Among them, Shen Jingqiu attacked. She faced an expert who was very powerful. He wasn't one of the 8 great prodigies, but he also comprehended the divine steel's divine ability. Shen Jingqiu fought with him. Everyone was incomparably shocked when they saw it. Shen Jingqiu finally defeated her opponent, which made Stillwater Sky City's Wang Xiaofeng and the others equally shocked. When did Shen Jingqiu become so powerful? Her divine steel's divine ability was also so powerful. Chapter 3666. It should be because of Lin Wuti. Don't forget, Lin Wuti and Shen Jingqiu both started from the Shen steel. There must be something mysterious about it. Indeed, they spent 3 months to comprehend the divine steel, but it was not as fast as the other party who spent 1 month. There must be something wrong. But even if there was something mysterious, they couldn't care less. It was too late to think about it now. At this moment, the battles continued. Outside, people were constantly being transported out. Those who came out all failed. Actually, when Ghostly was transported out, Yu Qinya was shocked again. Di Ling's face was also filled with shock. One of his archenemies had also been teleported out. Who was the one who kicked you out? Ghostly snorted. It was that Lin Wudi. What? It was him again. Ling's eyelids twitched. Yu Qinya's face was also pale. But then he revealed a sinister look. 3 of the 8 great prodigies were beaten out. Among them were the first and second Ling and Ghostly. That kid was definitely unlucky. With Ling and Ghostly's methods and their background, how could they easily let each other go? One must know that Ghostly was from the evil star, and Ling was from the spirit-sealing star. These 2 worlds were extremely famous and terrifying worlds in the second astral boundary. If the people from these 2 worlds knew that Lin Shen had eliminated Ling and Ghostly, what would they do? They would definitely go crazy and assassinate Lin Shen. Thinking of this, Yu Qinya revealed a sinister look. But soon he frowned. Because he found that Ghostly did not have much killing intent. One must know that when he and Ling were transported out, they roared at the sky. Their killing intent shook the 9 heavens and 10 earths. And when Ghostly came out, other than his face being a little ugly, he did not do anything else. What was going on? Even Ling found something wrong. He said, "Are you willing to accept this? So what if you are not willing? Who told me to provoke the other party?" Ghostly sneered. "Don't tell me you 2 still want to continue fighting with the other party? Of course. Who does he think he is? How dare he eliminate me? When I come out, I will definitely teach him a lesson." Ling's eyes were filled with killing intent. After coming out, there was no cultivation suppression. His cultivation was almost 2 heavenly layers higher than the other party. Wouldn't it be easy for him to kill the other party? Yu Qinya also sneered. His cultivation was 1 level higher than his opponent's, so in the real world he could also kill his opponent. Looking at their expressions, Ghostly shook his head. "That's your business, it has nothing to do with me. I won't do anything to him. At least, I won't assassinate him unless there's a special competition." "Are you admitting defeat?" Ling sneered. "I didn't expect you to be so cowardly." Yu Qinya's eyes were also filled with unwillingness. Ghostly said coldly, "You can think whatever you want. Both of you are the young masters of your families. I am different. I climbed up bit by bit from the Malevolence planet. On the Fiend planet there were schemes and assassinations every day. Sometimes you wouldn't even know how you died. That's why my intuition told me that Lin Wudi was terrifying and that I shouldn't make an enemy out of him. For my future path, I won't make an enemy out of him again." After saying that, Ghostly ignored the 2 of them and stood there alone with a cold expression. Although he was eliminated the first time, he still had a chance. At most, he could wait for half a year and participate again. At that time, with his strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to succeed. But this Lin Wudi, he couldn't provoke him in the future. Ling didn't think so. He was different from Ghostly. He had always been a heaven's pride. Moreover, he was a heaven's pride from the first heavenly realm. That's why anyone who went against him would be trampled under his feet. Yu Qinya was even more so. He was the young master of the Yu clan. Since he was young, he was the center of everyone's attention. Someone dared to provoke him? He would use everything, even the power of his family, to destroy the other party. Seeing more and more people being eliminated, Yu Qinya's eyes flickered. He came to the side and said, "Brother Ling, don't you think this is too unusual? There were too many heaven's prides being eliminated. It was unfair to Wuxia City. Wuxia City would lose a lot of geniuses for nothing. Why don't we work together and talk to the elders of Wuxia City? With our status, we can work together with these geniuses and put pressure on them. Maybe." Before Yu Qinya could finish his words, Ling's eyes emitted a cold light. He nodded slightly and turned his head. "Are you willing to accept this?" Those people were naturally unwilling. He said, "All right, follow me. We'll go and find the elders of Wuxia City." Ling led the crowd and quickly walked towards the distance. A roar sounded. "I, Ling, bring many heaven's prides to seek an audience with the elders." His voice was like thunder, spreading in all directions. Soon 5 pairs of people rushed over. The leading elder came. "What's going on? What's going on? This is Wuxia City, you can't be so presumptuous." "We don't want to be presumptuous, but some people are too despicable and caused many of the 8 great heaven's prides to be eliminated. I think this is also a loss to Wuxia City." The elders who had just arrived were also stunned. Ling, Guili, and Yu Qinya were indeed 3 of the 8 great heaven's prides. How could they be eliminated? There were also some other heaven's prides who were very eye-catching in the first round, but they were all eliminated. That was too unbelievable. For a moment they frowned. To be honest, they did not expect this to happen because in their opinion, Ling was definitely the favorite to win the championship. Even if he could not become the first disciple, he would definitely be in the top 3. Guili was also very powerful. Wuxia was also extraordinary. But now, those people were eliminated. Why don't we discuss it? Someone suggested. However, the elder who participated in the first round shook his head. No, the rules were the rules and they could not be changed. In an instant, the crowd began to discuss spiritedly. Those people that had been eliminated were also begging for another chance. Just as both sides were about to reach a stalemate, a decree descended from the sky. Seeing that, the elders immediately became respectful. The others did not dare to say anything because the aura from the decree was too terrifying. At first glance, one could tell that it was from an extremely terrifying sage. The elders took it respectfully and took a look. Then they gasped. All right, stop fooling around. Because of the special situation this time, I'll give you a chance. You originally failed and could only take the test half a year later. But this time it can be brought forward. 3 days later you can take the test again. If you fail the test, you will be immediately eliminated and leave Wuxia City. If you don't want it, you can take the test half a year later. You can decide what to do. Chapter 3667. The elders gave 2 paths and the others' eyes flickered. Those who felt that they weren't too confident all chose to wait half a year before taking the test according to the usual rules. However, people like Di Ling and Wuxia decided to wait for the test 3 days later. Failure? Impossible. They didn't believe that they had to pass the test and participate in the 3rd round. Then they would kill Lin Wudi with their own strength. Ghostly had no choice. He decided to wait for half a year to avoid Lin Xian. At the same time, there were some geniuses who thought they were strong enough to wait for the test 3 days later. These people were brought to an independent palace and began to recover. They waited for the test 3 days later. As for the others, they became unnamed disciples and went to another area. After the geniuses left, the elders frowned. Why did the higher-ups give such an order? They were also greatly surprised. Who knew? Some shook their heads. Maybe it was because too many geniuses were eliminated, or maybe it was because of other reasons. Anyway, no one could guess the higher-ups' intentions. The elders nodded. However, if Di Ling and the others were allowed to enter the 3rd round, the storm would be huge. There were no restrictions in the 3rd round. Maybe that was the higher-ups' intention. Lin Wudi was too dazzling in the first 2 rounds. However, there were specific restrictions in the first 2 rounds. Maybe the higher-ups wanted to refine him. Were they not afraid of going too far? Did he die? Some elders frowned. One had to know that Di Ling, Wuxia and the others were very strong. If they joined forces in the 3rd round, Lin Wudi might be killed. If he died, then so be it. There were countless geniuses in the world, but how many could walk out in the end? Lin Wudi was like that. Di Ling and Wuxia were the same. An elder's expression was cold. If we show mercy now, they will be killed by stronger geniuses in the future. The ancient starry sky path was a path of no return. One must be prepared to die. This was a path that could only be walked by stepping on the corpses and blood of countless geniuses. Inside the Copper Sparrow Pavilion, the battle had ended. There were more than 10,000 geniuses left. Only 3,000 remained. The rest were all eliminated. The remaining people were filled with excitement. This was great. They could finally enter the next stage. What's the next round? Someone asked. Xin Jingqiu, Lin Xian and the rest turned their heads. They were curious about the last round. The last round? It's a real battle. A Wuxia City's martial artist walked out. For the last round we will send you to the East Spirit World. You will complete your mission. If you return you will pass the 3rd round, and become a disciple of Wuxia City. However, what I want to tell you is that the East Spirit World is a very special place. Not only will the people from Wuxia City be there for the assessment, the people from the other sacred cities will also be there. Furthermore, there would be some powerful demonic beasts that would appear as well. It could be said that it was a world that specialized in training. It was very dangerous inside. If you're unlucky, there were no restrictions. Although there were no restrictions, their lives were still in danger. This was definitely not good news for them. No one wanted to be killed. Some people hesitated. Some asked, "What's the mission? Is it dangerous?" The mission is for each of you to retrieve 10 East Spirit Stones. East Spirit Stones are unique to the East Spirit World. However, they're not common. You'll need to search carefully. Of course, you can also trade, rob, or assassinate with others. Anyway, it's up to you. As long as you can get 10 East Spirit Stones and return alive, you'll pass. getting 10 East Spirit Stones by hook or by crook. When they heard this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. It was so dangerous, even greater than what they had imagined. However, they also knew that this was the only way. After all, they should not cultivate if they were afraid of death. They had been through hundreds of battles and climbed up from countless corpses. Therefore, although they were hesitant, no one backed down. The third round's ranking will be determined according to the time you return. The rankings of the 3 stages added together will be your final ranking. Speaking of this, everyone sighed. The first place of the second round would definitely be Lin Wudi again, because no one could surpass him. He was the person who eliminated Di Ling and Ghost Li. If no one backs out, then rest for a day and adjust your body. I'll send you to the East Spirit World. Everyone nodded and began to rest. Peerless City's martial artists formed seals with their palms. Instantly, everyone was enveloped. In the next moment, those people exclaimed. They felt a huge and powerful life force entering their bodies. Peerless City was helping them recover. Great. They were excited and absorbed with all their might. Under such circumstances, these people recovered in about half a day. For the next half a day, these people closed their eyes and rested. They maintained their peak condition. A day later, these people stood up. Peerless City's martial artists led them out of the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. After walking out, an elder came over and said a few words. The Peerless City's martial artists were stunned. What happened? Lin Xian, Xin Jingqiu and the rest were puzzled. A Peerless City's martial artist turned around and said. He had just received news that those who were eliminated previously would have an extra chance. 3 days later they would participate in the assessment. Those who succeed would also enter the third round and compete with you. You must be mentally prepared. What? There was such a thing. Many people's faces changed. Di Ling, Ghost Li and the rest would be back. Thinking of this, their scalps tingled. Among them, Shi Bufan, Shi Sui, and Tiancheng looked at Lin Xian with a trace of sympathy in their eyes. Xin Jingqiu also frowned. Brother Lin, you must be careful. I'm afraid those guys will take revenge on you. No worries. Lin Xian was not too concerned. Firstly, it seemed that the East Spirit World was a huge world. It would not be easy to meet. Furthermore, the other party would arrive 3 days later. The situation in the Eastern Spirit World was extremely dangerous. Whether these people could survive or not was another matter. Even if he really met them, would he be afraid of them? Things were getting more and more interesting. He hoped to meet them inside. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. At that time he would let those people know that even if they were outside he could still trample on them with his true strength. Alright, I'm just informing you about this. You should think about how to get the 10 pieces of East Spirit Stone and come back alive. The Peerless City's martial artists led the 3,000 people on the road again. Thank you for your monthly votes, recommendation votes, subscriptions, favorites and tips. Sending 5 chapters, asking for support. Chapter 3668. Finally they arrived at a huge square. On the square there was a flickering array formation. It was extremely ancient and complex. Everyone boarded the array. The warriors of Peerless City activated the array. The array flickered and teleported everyone away. Looking at the departing figures, the eyes of the warriors and elders of Peerless City flickered. One of them sighed, wondering how many of them would be able to return alive. Buzz buzz buzz. When the power of the array disappeared, Lin Xian opened his eyes. In the next moment, he roared, and the 9 young divine bodies shone brightly to defend himself. At the same time he looked around. Where was Qiu? He realized that Xin Jingqiu was gone. Not only Xin Jingqiu, Shi Bufan, but the people of Stillwater Sky City were all gone. It seemed that this was not only a spatial teleportation array, but also a random teleportation array. It directly teleported them to various places in this world. It seemed that he could only find Qiu while searching for the East Spirit Stone. Thinking of this, his body swayed and he wanted to leave. However, at that moment he stopped. In fact, his expression became incomparably serious. Buzz buzz buzz. Above his head, a strong wind blew and a dark cloud appeared. Upon closer inspection, it was not a dark cloud but a pair of wings. It was a demonic beast and its wings covered the sky. The aura on it was really terrifying. Everywhere it passed, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Damn, this was the East Spirit Realm. Lin Xian's eyes widened. Fuck, this is a powerful demonic beast saint. Not only him but the others also saw it. After being teleported to the East Spirit Realm, they were ready to search for the East Spirit Stone. But as soon as they moved, they saw one terrifying scene after another. For example, A divine ape that could kick 2 mountains away with a little force. A demonic wolf that could make the stars fall from the sky with a roar. There was also a giant python that could swallow half the sky with its mouth open. This scene stunned all of the sages who were taking the test. Damn it, what kind of place had they come to? These people were really terrified. Let's hurry up and find 10 spirit stones and go back. The people scattered around the world began to move. After leaving those powerful demonic beasts, they heaved a sigh of relief. That's great. A cold light burst out from the eyes of one of them. He soared into the sky wanting to leave this place. But at this time, an emerald green poisonous snake suddenly appeared on the tree and coiled around his neck. It bit him. Immediately, his body turned black and he fell to the ground, twitching non-stop. This poison was extremely terrifying. Even if this person was a third heaven saint, he could not withstand it. In the end, he could only escape with his soul, screaming as he fled. This was not the only case. At least 5 or 6 people were attacked in an instant. It couldn't be helped. These people still didn't know enough about this place. It was obvious that they had been careless. Xian also frowned. This was truly a terrifying place. He activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and looked around before quickly leaving. However, at this moment, the ground beneath his feet also cracked open, and a claw swiped towards his leg. He wanted to crush his leg. Lin Xian laughed coldly. He had long since noticed that something was amiss. Seeing his opponent attack, he stamped his foot. Boom. The earth trembled as the claw was shattered into pieces. There was a roar from the ground and a huge creature rushed out. It was a rat. Of course, it was not an ordinary rat. It was a beast saint. The purple fur all over its body shone brightly. Strands of law surrounded it, and the shattered claw quickly healed. In its emerald green eyes, there was a terrifying murderous intent. With a roar, it rushed over. Obviously, it wanted to tear the human who injured it to pieces. Scram. Lin Xian roared and kicked out like a coiling dragon. Boom. When they collided, an earth-shattering sound was heard, followed by a scream. Then the huge purple rat was sent flying. Its bones were shattered and many cracks appeared on its body. Its eyes were filled with fear. Damn it, what was wrong with this human? Why was his physique so strong? One had to know that it was not an ordinary rat. It was a mutated species of earth demon rat. Its cultivation had reached the third heaven. It was a third heaven beast saint. In its opinion, killing a human of the same level was a piece of cake. But now it could not do so. The other party's physique was too strong. Run beast saints were not idiots. They had great wisdom and were not inferior to humans at all. Their physiques were stronger than humans. At this moment, after knowing that it was no match for Lin Xian, it immediately burrowed into the ground, wanting to escape. You want to leave? Can you? Lin Xian sneered. With a stomp of his foot, a huge crack spread forward. The entire ground was trampled into a canyon by him. The earth demon rat underground was also shaken out. It burrowed deeper into the ground desperately. You still don't want to come out? In that case, don't blame me. Lin Xian sneered, took out the Great Destruction Spear and stabbed it into the ground. The Great Destruction Spear was a sacred artifact. It grew infinitely and pierced through the ground. In the next moment, a miserable cry came from the depths of the ground. Lin Xian waved the Great Destruction Spear with force. The ground cracked open, and the Great Destruction Spear was retrieved from the ground. There was a purple phantom on the spear. It was the Earth Demon Rat. At this moment, it was pierced by the Great Destruction Spear, and its face was filled with fear. Don't kill me, I beg you, spare my life. This huge beast spoke in human language, its face filled with fear. To be honest, he was cursing in his heart. Damn it, he had kicked a metal plate. He originally thought that this was a hothead, a new prey. Who knew that the other party was so powerful? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Don't kill you? Sure, it depends on whether you have value or not. Yes, I do. The Earth Demon Rat hurriedly nodded. Young master, you should be a cultivator who just entered the East Spirit world. I'm quite familiar with the terrain here. I can be your guide. Hearing this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He had just arrived here and was indeed unfamiliar with the place. If there was a demon saint who could lead the way for him, it would be much more convenient. But why should I believe you? If I let you go, what if you run away or counterattack me? Otherwise, I'll plant a restriction in your body. What? Plant a restriction? Wouldn't that be at the mercy of others? The Earth Demon Rat was 100% unwilling. He said, with my little strength, what tricks can I play in front of you? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Come on, you demons are born cunning. I'll give you 2 options now. First, I'll plant a restriction in you and make you listen to me during this period. Second, I'll kill you now and collect your soul. You choose. I choose the first option. The earth demon rat did not want to die and could only helplessly. Lin Xian smiled. Don't worry, your choice is very correct. I won't control you for too long. I'm only in this East Spirit world for a trial. After I'm done with the trial, I'll let you go. Chapter 3669. Okay, I hope you keep your word. The Earth Fiend demonic rat had no choice but to accept this condition. Lin Xian planted a restriction in the other party's mind. As long as the other party dared to betray him, he could immediately kill the other party. Then he put away the spear of great destruction. The other party quickly recovered and said at the same time, "What do you want to ask?" "Ask away." Lin Xian said, "Do you know the East Spirit Stone? Where can I get it?" Spirit Stone? The Earth Fiend demonic rat was stunned, and then the corners of its mouth twitched. It seemed that, young master, you are the disciple of the Holy City's assessment. Oh, do you know? Lin Xian nodded. He knew that many holy cities required the East Spirit Stone for the assessment. However, there weren't many of these things and they weren't easy to obtain. Cut the crap. Where is it? Tell me, lead the way and tell me about the situation here. Okay, the Earth Fiend demonic rat had no choice. Its life was in the other party's hands now and it couldn't resist. He said, "Let's talk as we walk." As it spoke, its body began to shrink and in the end, it was only the size of a fist. It was very cute. It jumped onto Lin Xian's shoulder and said, "Fly east." Lin Xian's figure flashed, and he flew at a low altitude. At this time Little White also flew out. He came to Lin Xian's other shoulder, looked at the Earth Fiend demonic rat and said, "Oh, I've taken in another underling." Lin Xian smiled and rubbed Little White's head. The Earth Fiend demonic rat was unhappy. "Underling? Underling my ass. Damn monkey." It roared and a terrifying demon Saint aura surged out. It was a third firmament demon. Could it not scare a little monkey to death? However, Little White only dug its ears. "Yeah, so noisy." Then, its furry little claws slapped over and slapped the Earth Fiend demonic rat's head. The Earth Fiend demonic rat was dizzy and fainted. A few seconds later it came back to its senses. In the next moment, it looked at Little White with a face full of fear. Damn it, what a strange monkey. At the same time it was shocked. Wow, even a monkey was so difficult to deal with. This person was too strange. It was better not to provoke them. He chuckled. "Brother Monkey, I'm your new little brother. What kind of spirit fruit do you want to eat? Tell me and I'll bring you to find it later." Earth Fiend demonic rat appeared to be fawning on the surface, but it was extremely depressed in its heart. It was a third firmament demon sage and overlord of an area. But at this moment he was reduced to being a lackey. "Yeah, I want to eat angel fruit, Kirin fruit." Little White listed out the names of many fruits. The corner of the Earth Fiend demonic rat's mouth twitched after hearing this, and it almost vomited blood. How was this a spirit fruit? This was simply a miraculous elixir. How could it be here? He could only play dumb and stop responding. Instead he began to guide Lin Xian. Lin Xian's figure flickered as he quickly flew forward. Suddenly, a huge hand reached out from the mountains and slapped towards him. The sky fell and the earth cracked. The mountains shattered and the earth cracked. This slap was really terrifying. Lin Xian was directly hit. The Earth Fiend demonic rat was so scared that it peed its pants. It thought that it was definitely going to die, but it didn't expect Lin Xian to release countless sword chi and block this attack. Although it was sent flying, it didn't suffer too much injury. Buzz. Lin Xian rushed into the sky and came to the void. He looked into the distance and frowned. Damn it, someone was sneaking up on him. No, to be precise, it wasn't a human but a demonic beast that was sneaking up on him. What was this? Lin Xian asked. The Earth Fiend demonic rat took a look and felt its scalp go numb. It was a lightning beast. Let's take a deeter quickly. Why, is it very powerful? Lin Xian asked. Of course it's very powerful. Moreover, it's not a native demonic beast of the East Spirit world. It's from outside. What did it mean? Lin Xian was even more surprised. The Earth Fiend demonic rat said, "Didn't I say that Sister Dongling is a trial ground? In addition to your sacred city, other sacred cities as well as major forces and families will also send disciples and experts here. This lightning beast came in from outside for the trial. They should be from the Demon City." Demon City? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. In that case it should also be a sacred city. The Earth Fiend demonic rat nodded. That's right, it was indeed a sacred city, and it was the sacred city of the demon race. There were no humans inside, only demons and other 10,000 ancient races. They were very powerful and brutal. In the East spirit world they even specialized in hunting humans. This lightning beast was not only from the lightning clan, but also from the demon city. So we can't provoke it. Let's take a detour. Someone from the demon city? Interesting. Lin Xian smiled. What's there to be afraid of? You and Xiaobai watch from the side. I'll go and meet him. Lin Xian was too excited. To be honest, the previous 2 trials were indeed novel to him, but the battles were not satisfying. Especially in the second round, people like Di Ling, Ghost Li, and the others were no longer his opponents. He needed to find a new opponent. He did not expect to meet people from other sacred cities as soon as he entered. How could he not be excited? Only by constantly fighting could he break through his limits again and again. So Lin Xian's target was this lightning beast. The lightning beast also walked out of the mountain range surrounded by lightning. Especially its eyes, which were even more terrifying and carried a terrifying aura. Wherever its gaze passed, the void was constantly shattered. Human ants, come here and die. His voice was filled with endless majesty. Come here, but you're the one who's going to die. Lin Xian's right hand swept out. It was as if a part of the world was surrounded by the 5 elemental laws. He directly slapped over. Before his palm landed, the mountain range in front of him kept shattering. It could not withstand this force at all. You're courting death. The lightning beast was furious. The other party dared to attack him. He was courting death. He opened his mouth and spat out a bolt of lightning. This was the art of lightning. It flickered with an unparalleled light, like a heavenly sword that could destroy everything in the world. In his opinion, an early-stage 3rd heaven sage would definitely not be able to withstand his attack. Boom. The 5 elemental palm collided with the light of thunder. A thunderous sound was heard, and the entire forest area was completely destroyed. Countless demonic beasts fled. They knew that there were 2 behemoths in the middle of a battle. After the first attack, Lin Xian continued to attack. His palms were like the 5 elemental mountains, pressing down on the lightning beast. The lightning beast was completely enraged. Damn it, how could it be? How could the other party's physique be so strong? Brr! He roared. He did not believe it at all and charged over. As a beast, his physique was much stronger than a human. He did not believe that an early-stage 3rd heaven person could compete with him. One had to know that he was at the mid-stage 3rd heaven. He was one small realm higher than the other party. Such a small realm was enough for him to kill the other party easily. The 2 of them engaged in close combat. The Earth Fiend demonic rat saw this scene and felt his scalp go numb. Damn it, come back quickly and attack him from afar. He realized that Lin Xian also wanted to engage in close combat. He was really stupid. Wasn't this hitting a stone with an egg? Chapter 3670. Little White, who was at the side, waved its furry little paws. Yeah, it's safe. As it spoke, it took out a spiritual fruit and began to eat it. Its big black eyes blinked as it looked ahead as if it was watching a good show. This monkey was too heartless. Its master was about to die. The earth demon demonic rat's eyes flickered. It was ready to escape. It was no match for this lightning beast, so when the person in front of it died, it immediately fled. Even its 2 claws had already begun to quietly dig into the ground. However, at this moment, the sound of bones breaking came from the front, as well as an earth-shattering roar. The sky in all directions kept shattering. The earth demon demonic rat raised its head and looked into the distance. Then its eyes almost fell out. He saw that the lightning beast's enormous body was actually sent flying backwards, smashing countless mountains into pieces. Not only that, blue blood flowed out from the other party's body. It was injured, the lightning beast was actually injured. God, this human youth was too terrifying, wasn't he? It was stunned. At the same time, the lightning beast was also stunned. Its heart was filled with infinite fear and anger. It was actually injured by a human. It was too unbelievable. More importantly, this human's cultivation was lower than his. With a roar, it used its bloodline talent. The speed of the lightning clan was very fast. In an instant it disappeared. When it reappeared, it was behind Lin Xian. It was like teleportation. Go to hell. His 2 palms turned into 2 heavenly blades and slashed down mercilessly. This attack should have killed the other party, right? The void shattered and turned into chaos. However, the lightning beast's heart suddenly stopped. It missed. That's right, it felt that this attack had slashed into the void and did not hit the other party at all. Damn it, where was the other party? It looked in front of it in disbelief. Disappeared, the other party disappeared. The other party's speed was actually so fast? It was even faster than its bloodline talent. This was impossible. She was from the Lightning Clan, a lightning-type demonic saint. In addition to her bloodline talent, who could be faster than her in the same realm? Not to mention a third heaven saint, even a fourth heaven saint might not be as fast as her. Are you looking for me? At this moment, a cold voice came from behind. What? Had the other party already arrived behind him? When had he arrived? Why didn't he notice it at all? Thinking of this, he broke out in a cold sweat. Had the other party's speed surpassed his? How was this possible? He turned his head and saw a fist coming at him. It was a golden fist that was shining with multicolored light. Not good. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. This punch landed directly on his face, causing his head to explode in an instant. His entire body fell to the ground. Next, he felt more than 1,000,000 attacks. He was torn into pieces and turned into a bloody mist. The ground fiend demonic rat opened its eyes wide. It could not believe that the lightning beast was actually being beaten up by the other party. This was too inconceivable. The lightning beast was so scared that it pissed its pants. This human before it was definitely one of the top geniuses out there. To think that it could not beat him. Run quickly. The blood turned into streams of light and fled into the distance. However, how could Lin Xian let him escape? The sword chi of the dragon traversing sword flew out and formed a sword field. It shrouded the area in front of him and completely enveloped the blood of the other party. Next, tens of thousands of sword chi exploded together. The blood kept being obliterated. A miserable and terrified voice sounded. "No, you can't do it. I'm from the demon city." He let out a crazy roar. The exam was useless. No matter what demon city you were from, as long as you dared to make a move, Lin Xian would not let you go. In the end, a soul fled in panic and was shattered into pieces by Lin Xian with the Great Destruction Spear. Nothing was left in front of him. Alright, he could continue on his way. Lin Xian waved his hand and said to the ground fiend demonic rat behind him. Little White flew back, while the ground fiend demonic rat's body stiffened. He was completely stunned at this moment. Previously, he was forced to submit to the other party and was still dissatisfied in his heart. But now, he no longer dared to have any dissatisfaction. The other party's strength had completely stunned it. What kind of human was this? This was simply a god. Next, he continued on his way. 3 days later, Lin Xian obtained the first East Spirit Stone. He got it in a valley. If it wasn't for the ground fiend demonic rat leading the way, he wouldn't have been able to find it. A piece of East Spirit Stone was crystal clear and flickering with light. This kind of stone was a very important material for making array formations. Lin Xian carefully put away the East Spirit Stone. Then he narrowed his eyes. Now that he had gotten the East Spirit Stone, it wouldn't be too far away. With a sway of his body, he left again. 2 days later, he found a second piece of East Spirit Stone. This piece of East Spirit Stone was on an ancient tree. He didn't know who put it here. Lin Xian's figure flashed and he stepped on the air. He arrived above the ancient tree and reached out to grab the second piece. However, at this moment there was a crisis. Suddenly, 2 golden rays of light rushed out from the ancient tree. This sudden change stunned Lin Xian and he subconsciously blocked with his hand. With a bang he was sent flying. His entire arm was numb. Damn it, what was this thing? His strength was too strong. One had to know that he had the 9 yang divine body. Especially now, his physique was completely equivalent to a 4th firmament saint. He could even withstand a few attacks from a 5th firmament saint. And once he activated the Qilin tattoo, his physique would be even stronger. Although he hadn't activated the Qilin tattoo, not everyone could hurt him. However, this golden light made his entire body feel as if he had been struck by lightning. He was sent flying. At the same time, another voice came from beside his ear. Not good. It turned out that the earth fiend demonic rat was hit by another golden light. Its entire body was penetrated and it let out a miserable cry. That golden light turned back and stabbed at the earth fiend demonic rat's head. Save me. The earth fiend demonic rat's face was filled with fear. Although he was also a 3rd firmament demon saint, he didn't even have the strength to fight back in front of this golden light. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he was instantly furious. The earth fiend demonic rat was his guide and the most important existence to find the East Tombstone. How could he allow others to attack him? Thinking of this, he roared angrily, clenched his hand into a fist, and directly grabbed at the golden line. He grabbed it with one hand. However, Lin Xian was also sent flying, crashing into countless forests. At this moment, another golden light charged towards Little White. However, Little White's speed was very fast. Its figure flashed and directly disappeared into the void, dodging this attack. Lin Xian roared angrily. He activated the black Qilin tattoo on his body and his physique became stronger. He waved his fists and sent the two golden lights flying. Bus. He grabbed the Earth Fiend demonic rat and brought it to his side. How is it? Lin Xian asked. The Earth Fiend demonic rat's face was filled with fear. It wouldn't die, but it was almost. If you didn't make a move, I would definitely die today. Chapter 3671. As he healed his wounds, his face was filled with horror. After the two golden lights in front of him were sent flying, they did not attack immediately. Instead, they stopped in midair. It was only then that Lin Xian realized that they were actually two bugs. Two of them had wings and were yellow all over. There were black patterns on their bodies and they looked like bees. How was that possible? Lin Xian was completely stunned. How could two bees make them so miserable? They even seemed to be able to easily kill any level 3 sage. Even a level 4 sage might not be able to block them. What kind of bee was that? It was too terrifying. After the Earth Demon demonic rat saw it, its scalp went numb. Damn it, the killer saint bees were meant to kill sages. Lin Xian also gasped when he heard that. Just the name alone was enough to tell that it was a terrifying existence. He asked, are they native to the East Spirit World or the Demon City? Or are they raised by a sage? They should be native to the East Spirit World. I've heard of the killer saint bees before, but I didn't expect them to be here. At this point, its voice trembled. Could it be that their hive is on the ancient tree in front of us? If that's the case, we're dead meat. Let's go. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. He looked ahead and heaved a sigh of relief. To be honest, he also muttered in his heart. The two killer saint bees were already so powerful. If there was a hive of them, he could only run away. But fortunately, it seemed that this was not their nest. He just didn't know why they were here. Lin Xian looked at the East Spirit Stone again and frowned. Perhaps someone brought the East Spirit Stone here and was killed. This could also explain why the East Spirit Stone was on the tree. Let's go. There are other East Spirit Stones in other places. Don't worry. The East Spirit Stone is right in front of us. How can we give up? Besides, there might be East Spirit Stones in other places, but there might not be killer saint bees in other places. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Seeing this scene, the Earth Demon demonic rat was dumbfounded. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to attack killer saint bees? No way, don't provoke this thing. If a group of them comes, we'll definitely die. Don't worry, I have a way. Lin Xian's eyes glowed with a golden light. He said, Little White, go get the East Spirit Stone and leave these two bees to me. Whitey's figure flickered as it flew towards the ancient tree in front. Seeing this, the two sacred killing peaks immediately made their moves too. However, Lin Xian made his move. With a wave of his hand, he unleashed a beam of sword chi that cut through the void. At the same time, the golden light in his eyes blossomed with unparalleled brilliance. A technique, Heavenly Heart. This was a control-type eye technique. It was the upgraded version of Moonlight Shadow. At this moment, the two saint-slaying peaks were shaking non-stop. They had received a huge soul attack. With a flap of its wings, two streaks of golden light clashed in the air. Wherever it passed, large black cracks appeared in the void. When the Earth Fiend demonic rat saw this scene, it was so frightened that it hurriedly dug out the soil and went underground, trembling. As for Lin Xian, he was constantly using ocular techniques to attack his opponent's soul. After 30 minutes, the two saint-slaying peaks finally stopped being so irritable and stopped in midair. Come here. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the two saint-slaying bees flew over and landed on his palm. Lin Xian looked carefully. He had to admit that these two saint-slaying bees were very beautiful if he looked carefully. The black spots on their bodies were like Tao patterns, full of mysterious aura. Come out, it's fine now. He stomped the ground with his foot. The Earth Fiend demonic rat came out, its green eyes looking around. Have you killed them? No, they're in my hands. As he spoke, he stretched out his palm. When the Earth Fiend demonic rat saw the two saint-slaying peaks in his palm, it was immediately scared out of its wits. It wanted to leave, but it was kicked out by Lin Xian. Now these are already mine. Yours? What do you mean? The Earth Fiend demonic rat stopped. He waited for a long time and found that these two saint-slaying peaks did not attack. This made him heave a sigh of relief. I've already controlled their souls. They're already mine now. These simple words made the earth fiend demonic rat's hair stand on end. This was an eye technique, and it was an extremely terrifying eye technique. This young man was too powerful. Fortunately, it had cooperated obediently before. Otherwise, the other party would have directly controlled its soul and turned it into a walking corpse. It would not have any ability to resist. These two killing St. Peaks might be able to play an unimaginable role. Lin Xian put it away. Then he took the East Spirit Stone from Little White. Let's go. With a wave of his hand, they were on their way again. While Lin Xian was collecting the Spirit Stones, another group of people arrived in the East Spirit World. These people were the second batch of examinees from Wuxia City, which was Di Ling, Yu Qinya, and the others. They waited for 3 days before taking the test again. After passing the test, they were teleported here. When they first arrived, they were also shocked by the terror of the East Spirit World. However, a few of them sneered. For example, Yu Qinya's eyes were red. Finally, it was the third stage. Lin Xian, you can't escape. I'll tear you into pieces. On the other side, it was the same for Di Ling. Lin Wudi, you dare to eliminate me? I'll make you wish you were dead. His body swayed and he rushed into the sky, entering the mountain range. In the mountains, a waterfall cascaded down. At the bottom of the waterfall, there was a beautiful figure like a fairy. She took out an East Spirit Stone from the waterfall, then wiped the water off her face. She looked around. This is the second East Spirit Stone. I wonder how Brother Lin is doing? She was Xin Jingqiu. At this moment, she had also obtained the second East Spirit Stone, but she still had not met Lin Xian. With Brother Lin's strength, he should be fine here. But Brother Lin might be worried about me. No, I can't distract Brother Lin. Xin Jingqiu thought for a moment, then spat out a purple cloud. Then she spoke to the cloud. Brother Lin Qiu is safe. You don't have to look for me. Gather the 10 East Spirit Stones and we'll meet at Dongling Mountain. Dongling Mountain was the final destination. After the people of Wuxia City gathered the 10 East Spirit Stones, they would head to Dongling Mountain. From there they could return to Wuxia City. After speaking, Xin Jingqiu waved her hand, and the purple cloud floated in the sky, carrying her aura. As long as Lin Xian saw it, he would definitely recognize it. Then Lin Xian would be able to hear what she said. After doing this, Xin Jingqiu identified a direction and left. Not long after she left, a figure flew over and blended into the waterfall. Then with a sigh, the East Spirit Stone was taken away. Then he looked up at the sky. She hadn't gone too far. This is Xin Jingqiu's aura. He had just left. In the pool of water, thousands of water droplets condensed into a handsome man. It was Yu Qinya. Chapter 3672. Should he go and kill Xin Jingqiu? Yu Qinya thought about it and gave up. Forget it. My main target is that kid. As long as I get rid of that kid, the Holy Lady of the Spirit Tribe is nothing to be afraid of. Looking at this purple cloud, it should be able to lure that kid over. Alright, I'll wait here. When he comes, I'll show him how powerful I am. There was a waterfall in the mountains. There should be an East Spirit Stone hidden in it. If it hadn't been taken away. The earth fiend demonic rat's eyes flashed and it started to point the way again. Lin Xian set off towards the location of the third East Spirit Stone. He flew all the way to the mountains. Before he reached the waterfall, he stopped. In the next moment, he saw a ball of purple aura in the sky. A ball of purple cloud. He was stunned. The earth fiend demonic rat was also stunned. What a strange cloud. Who spat it out? Lin Xian was suddenly enlightened. It was Qiu. Qiu must have left it behind. Buzz. He probed with a large hand and grabbed towards the sky. As he moved, the waterfall on the other side also changed. Countless splashes of water turned into streaks of flowing light and rushed towards him. In an instant, the void in front of him was pierced. Oh no, there's an enemy. The earth fiend demonic rat screamed again. Lin Xian shouted coldly. With a wave of his hand, he uprooted the ground and formed a huge mountain in front of him. At the same time, his figure flashed and he appeared in another space. He grabbed the purple cloud in his hand. Was it a trap? His face was cold. However, at this moment, Xin Jingqiu's voice came from the cloud. Brother Lin, I'm fine. You don't have to look for me. We'll meet at Dongling Mountain. It was Qiu's voice. There was no doubt about it. Furthermore, Qiu didn't seem to be in any danger. Who was the one who attacked? Since it wasn't a trap, Lin Xian turned his head and looked into the distance. He saw that in the waterfall, the seawater condensed into a figure. Kid, you're finally here. That figure stood on the water, and the murderous aura he emitted was earth-shattering. A level 4 saint. The earth fiend demonic rat was pushed far away again, its face full of fear. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It's you, you bastard, you're here too. She didn't expect that the one waiting for her here was actually Yu Qinya. Was this mist left behind by Yu Qinya to confuse him? No, that shouldn't be the case. Chiu must have left it behind, and Yu Qinya must have discovered it after she left. In an instant he understood. A loser like you actually managed to enter. I have to say that you're really lucky. However, you didn't cherish this opportunity and even dared to cause trouble for me. Are you tired of living? Lin Xian sneered. In his opinion, this Yu Qinya was an idiot. Even now he still dared to provoke him. Wasn't this courting death? Yu Qinya snorted coldly. Brat, don't be so arrogant. The reason why you passed the second stage was because of the suppression of your innate techniques and cultivation base. Otherwise, do you think you can defeat me? Today in this place without any suppression, I will let you know my strength. I will let you die in despair. At the end of his words, the wind and rain changed. The waterfall behind him spun non-stop, turning into a silver dragon that crawled under Yu Qinya's feet. Brat, use the 2 bees you just got to kill him. The earth fiend demonic rat quickly said from behind. Kill him? Forget it. It's such a precious thing. Isn't it a waste to kill a trash? What a joke. Killing the bees was Lin Xian's trump card. He would only use it when necessary. He didn't put a mere Yu Qinya in his eyes. He raised his head and said indifferently, since you want to fight with me, show me your full strength. Attack with your full strength or you won't have any chance. I should be the one saying that. You better use your full strength or I can kill you in one move. Yu Qinya sneered. Is that so? Let me attack first? Sure. Lin Xian nodded. Then do you want to give me 3 moves? So what? Yu Qinya sneered. He had absolute confidence in this place. He was an entire realm higher than his opponent. Not to mention 3 moves, he could easily kill his opponent with 300 moves. What he wanted to do now was to let his opponent know what despair was. Since that's the case, I won't hold back. Lin Xian sneered. What an idiot. He really wanted to know what his opponent's expression would be after the first move. Thinking of this, he clenched his fist and punched out. It was extremely fast. In an instant he appeared in front of Yu Qinya and punched out. Yu Qinya was instantly torn into pieces. A miserable cry sounded. The sky was full of saint blood. Yu Qinya's corpse fell into the waterfall. This scene stunned the earth fiend demonic rats at the back. He came back to his senses. This 4th level guy isn't much. He's such an idiot. How can he stand there and let others hit him? The snow-white little monkey beside him said while eating a spirit fruit. Did water get into his brain? Lin Xian said. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I use too much strength? Ah, damn kid. I'm going to kill you. Yu Qinya's body, which had been torn to pieces, quickly healed. His handsome face instantly became distorted. Damn it. I was too careless. How can my opponent be so strong? He must have secretly used a saint artifact. Damn it. My opponent is too despicable. I won't let you off. The law on his body spread out. A terrifying aura rushed out. Lin Xian said. What? You want to fight? Didn't you say you would let me have 3 moves? This is only the first move. There are still 2 more. You won't go back on your words, right? These words were like slaps to the face. Yu Qinya's face was incomparably ugly. Previously he was incomparably confident that he would let his opponent have 3 moves. Who would have thought that his opponent's strength was beyond his expectations? His body was shattered in the first move. If he were to hit 2 more times, he would be seriously injured. So he gritted his teeth and said, Despicable kid, you are too shameless. I take back my words. Take back my words? I'm despicable and shameless? I think it's you who is too shameless. Someone like you is also a 4th level saint? You don't even keep your words. What a joke. Who would know here? Yu Qinya said shamelessly. Indeed. There are only 2 people here. So what if he's shameless? Oh my, I've never seen someone so shameless. The earth fiend demonic rat at the back could not stand it anymore. This guy is too thick-skinned. Who said no one saw it? Aren't we humans? Bah. We are demons. But what's wrong? Can't demons despise you? A smelly rat dares to clamor in front of me? Yu Qinya's killing intent was awe-inspiring. The earth fiend demonic rat took 2 steps back. However, when he thought of Lin Xian, he was not afraid. Do you think that you can be shameless just because there is no one here? I'll let you see the outcome of being shameless. Relatives come out. Chapter 3673. The earth demon demonic rat roared and the ground trembled. Countless rats jumped out. These rats might not be as strong as the earth demon demonic rat, but there were too many of them. They were densely packed and pairs of green eyes were looking around. Oh, it was their ancestor. When they saw the earth demon demonic rat, they kept worshipping it. Indeed, with the earth demon demonic rat's identity as a level 3 demonic rat, he could indeed be their ancestor. The earth demon demonic rat said to countless descendants, "Remember this person. He's despicable and shameless." "What's his name?" "His name is Wuxia," Lin Xian said. Yes. Remember this Wuxia. Despicable and shameless. Hurry up and spread the word. Let everyone in the East spirit world know that there is such a shameless guy. Courting death." Wuxia was mad. A small demonic beast dared to be arrogant in front of him? He raised his hand and a ray of light flew out. The earth demon demonic rat was shocked. Fortunately, Lin Xian made a move. With a wave of his hand, he directly shattered the ray of light. Lin Xian sneered. "What? Am I wrong? Aren't you despicable and shameless? You're sharp-tongued. Now I'll make you wish you were dead." With that, Wuxia's body swayed, turned into countless water droplets and rushed forward quickly. What a terrifying movement technique. The earth demon demonic rat was shocked to see it from afar. Indeed, Wuxia's body seemed to have turned into countless water droplets, killing people silently. Each droplet could penetrate through a level 3 demonic rat. Could be said that it was very terrifying. Boom boom boom. Lin Xian was instantly enveloped by these water droplets. Those raindrops fell on his body, making sonorous sounds like thousands of thunder. The space was completely shattered and annihilated. No way, I was completely hit. The earth demon demonic rat was horrified. Wuxia's lips curled into a smile. Idiot kid, I've said it. You're not mine at all outside." Before he finished speaking, his eyes widened. "How is this possible?" He screamed and retreated. Because he saw that under his attack, Lin Xian walked out. His whole body was covered in golden light. He's unharmed. He's unharmed? It was too unbelievable. The opponent's physique was actually comparable to that of a fourth heaven saint. It was really surprising. Is this what you have to be proud of? Your strength outside isn't that great either. Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. He raised his hand and unleashed a beam of golden sword chi. In an instant, the sword chi shattered the air and slashed towards Wuxia. Wuxia's body turned into countless water droplets. After dodging the sword, he sneered. "Useless brat, you can't hurt me at all. I have the body of true water." At this point he laughed proudly. His physique and bloodline were extraordinary, unfathomably deep. "Can't hurt you? Are you sure?" Lin Xian sneered at the other party. The other party's strength was only SOSO. To be honest, he had no interest in tangling with the other party. Therefore, in the next moment, he directly shot out a dragon-shaped sword chi, which contained the terrifying aura of the great dragon sword soul. Useless brat. Wuxia didn't dodge at all and turned back into raindrops. As long as he was in this state, he could dodge any attack. But this time he was gravely mistaken. This was the dragon-shaped sword chi which could destroy everything. As expected, when the sword slashed down, Wuxia instantly screamed. Blood flowed out from the countless raindrops. Damn it, how is this possible? Wuxia retreated crazily. A huge crack appeared on his body. It was terrifying and even his internal organs flowed out. Damn it, this is impossible. He was completely stunned. His body of true water was broken by the other party. How is this possible? This is an extremely special physique. Lin Xian sneered. What body of true water? You can't even withstand a single blow from me. I've said it before, you're not my opponent at all. Whether it's in the Copper Sparrow Pavilion or outside in the real world, you can't even withstand a single blow. Damn it, this is impossible. Wuxia screamed. The countless raindrops on his body began to shine. His body of true water could not only withstand countless attacks, but also had a strong recovery effect. After all, water nourished all things. But the strength of the sword chi and the remnant sword intent on it shocked him. His body of true water could not completely heal in a short period of time. Fortunately, the injury had been stopped. But at this moment, Lin Xian's fist came over. It arrived in front of him. With a boom, Yuchinya was smashed into pieces. Then Lin Xian attacked forcefully, turning Yuchinya into a bloody mist. His cold eyes surrounded the bloody mist. He said coldly, "Do you still think you can fight against me now?" Yuchinya was completely stunned. His heart was trembling violently. What was going on? He screamed and his body healed again. His face was incomparably pale. Defeated? Was he defeated? With just a few simple moves, the other party had beaten him to the point where he could not even fight back. Damn it. It made him feel powerless, just like when he was in the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. But that was because his cultivation was suppressed. He could not use his great skills. Now, he could use any divine ability without the suppression of his cultivation base. But he was still not a match for his opponent. Could it be that the gap between them was so big? No, I don't believe it. Yuchinya opened his mouth and spat out a decree that bloomed with incomparable light. That was the decree of the Rain Clan. Not only that, he also took out an umbrella. That was a saint artifact. The decree danced in front of him, and the umbrella spun above his head. In an instant, Yuchinya's whole body was covered in defense. "Kid, I will make you pay the price." As he said that, he formed a seal with his palms. The ancient words on the decree flickered and pushed forward. It was like a seal of heaven and earth that could destroy everything. What a terrifying aura. What kind of rune was that? The earth demon rat retreated again. The aura made his hair stand on end. Even the little white monkey stopped eating the spirit fruit and began to worry. Lin Xian sneered. He raised his hand and also threw out a decree. The two decrees collided in the air and intertwined, forming countless Tao of heaven and earth. "Damn kid, this is my Rain Clan's item." Seeing this decree, Yuchinya was instantly angry. It was very obvious that this was the decree of his sister. He snorted. "You are an outsider. You can't display the true power of our decrees." As he said that, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Suddenly, the decree bloomed with incomparable light. Only the power of our Rain Clan's bloodline can display the decree to its fullest. As expected, Lin Xian's decree was suppressed, and it began to tremble violently. Seeing this scene, Yuchinya laughed loudly. "Did you see that? You are not my opponent at all. Is that so? You rely too much on decrees. You don't know what is the most important thing in the dark?" Lin Xian's voice was cold. The most important thing was not the bloodline, nor the laws, but the ancient words on it. These are the ancient scripture words. "You idiot, you can't even comprehend the most important thing." After saying that, Lin Xian did not pay attention to his opponent anymore. Instead, he stretched out a finger and drew a few arcs in the sky. What he wrote was the ancient scripture words on the laws. Chapter 3674. If an ordinary person wrote it, it would be useless. However, Lin Xian had comprehended the Tao of heaven and earth and used the laws to write it. That power was truly unparalleled. After writing it, the sound of a sword and a dragon's roar could be heard from the ancient character. With a palm strike, the ancient scripture character was incomparably powerful, and it directly knocked away the other party's decree. It even directly pierced through the other party's decree. How could it be like this? Yuchinya vomited blood. His decree was broken. It was defeated by the other party with a single word. Did you see that? That was the true mystery of the decree. As for you, you only relied on the power of your weapon. You didn't study the essence of it at all. Lin Xian's voice sounded as if he was lecturing the other party. After Yuchinya heard it, his lungs exploded with anger. Damn it, was the other party lecturing him? What right did he have? He was going crazy with anger. I relied on the power of my old weapon. So what? Although you broke my decree, I have a saint weapon. As he spoke, he activated the heavenly Luo umbrella above his head. This was a true saint weapon that could store everything. As soon as it appeared, the heavenly Luo umbrella kept floating in the air as if it was going to store the entire world. At the same time, Lin Xian also felt a huge power. "Kid, be obediently taken in by my heavenly Luo umbrella and turn into a pool of blood." Yuchinya laughed sinisterly again. However, Lin Xian shook his head. "If you're really an idiot, do you think you're the only one who has a saint weapon?" With a wave of his hand, he directly pulled out the Great Destruction Spear to contend with it. Instantly, it blocked the heavenly Luo umbrella. The two great sage weapons were intertwined. Meanwhile, Lin Xian raised his head and looked forward. He walked forward. "Damn it!" Yuchinya roared crazily. He didn't expect the other party to have a saint weapon. It was really out of his expectations. However, soon he revealed a sinister expression. "After killing you, the saint weapon will be mine." He charged over and used the Rain Clan's great ability, Wind and Rain Sword. A sword of laws appeared in his hand. As he waved it, it brought about a storm of sword shadows. One had to admit that Wuxia was really powerful. However, it was a pity that he met Lin Xian. In the face of such a terrifying sword shadow, Lin Xian directly used the spatial ability Void Escape. In an instant he completely disappeared and appeared in front of his opponent. Then he took out another item. It was a bead. The moment the bead appeared, Wuxia instantly felt his body stiffen. It was as if a pair of invisible hands had grabbed him. Wind and Rain Sword also instantly. Damn it, what was that? Wuxia, in the next moment he screamed. Mind fixation bead. You actually... The only thing that could freeze him in place in an instant was that terrifying saint artifact, the mind fixation pearl. Wait, could it be? Suddenly he had a thought. You are the mysterious killer. He was really shocked. When he was in Ninefold Heaven's projection, a 7th-floor assassin appeared and threatened him with the mind fixation bead. At that time he was held hostage, his sister was humiliated, and the small saint of his family knelt on the ground and kowtowed. All of this was done by the kid in front of him. His eyes were burning, his head was smoking, and his lungs were about to explode. That's right, it's me. It seems that you're not too stupid. You know, from the beginning to the end, you've never been my opponent. How laughable you still dare to fight me. I can only say that you're courting death. Damn kid, let me go. Let's fight to the death. Fight to the death? Are we not fighting to the death now? Lin Xian directly slapped out. Half of Wuxia's face was shattered. Wuxia was knocked to the ground. He could not move at all. The power of the mind fixation bead was absolutely terrifying. Then Lin Xian began to attack. First, he broke all the bones in his opponent's body. Then he used lightning and fire to torture Wuxia. Wuxia screamed crazily. He had never experienced such torture in his life. In the end he was even hit by the eye technique. Locking spring and autumn. That kind of torture on the soul made him hover between life and death. In the end, madness appeared in Wuxia's eyes. He self-detonated and exploded into a bloody mist. His soul escaped with a small part of the saint's blood. Seeing this scene, the earth demon demonic rat said, "Kid, quickly chase him. Don't let him escape." Lin Xian did not immediately attack. No hurry. He's just a piece of trash. How can he escape from me? Then why didn't you chase him? The earth demon demonic rat was very puzzled. Lin Xian said, "Didn't you ask your relatives to spread the news of this kid's shamelessness throughout the East spirit world? I just want him to know what his reputation is like. I want him to die in pain and humiliation. I want everyone to know the consequences of daring to chase me." Lin Xian's eyes bloomed with an extremely terrifying killing intent. Indeed, Wuxia was too despicable. He had tried to kill him more than once. If he was weaker, he would have been killed long ago. This time he would not be soft-hearted. Lin Xian raised his head and stared at the falling rain umbrella. That umbrella turned into a stream of light and flew into the distance. Obviously it was summoned by Wuxia. Let's go and watch a good show. Lin Xian waved his hand. Little White and the earth demon demonic rat came to his side again. They turned into a stream of light and flew into the distance. In the vast mountains a blood light flew past. It was Wuxia. At this moment his body had recovered, but he was much weaker. This time he only took 1/3 of his blood with him. Moreover, he had experienced so much torture before. His soul was injured and his body was seriously injured. The current him could not even use half of his strength. It was already very good to be able to use 1/10 of his strength. Damn it, this is really too damn. Wuxia roared crazily. He really did not expect that he would fall into the hands of the other party. He must take revenge. However, before he left he had to recover first. He walked into the depths of the forest. He wanted to find a quiet place to recover. At this moment he heard 2 tree demons talking. Have you heard? A despicable and shameless guy came to our East spirit world. I know, despicable and shameless. I think his name is Wuxia. Wuxia spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it, did that damn rat really spread the news? He originally thought that the other party was just angry at him. He did not expect that the other party really did it. Go to hell. Wuxia waved his hand. 2 laws flew out and killed the 2 tree demons. At the same time he walked in with a dark face. However, after a few steps he heard people whispering again. They were all some small insects and plant beasts. At this moment they were all talking crazily. Do you know that there is a despicable and shameless Wuxia? Wuxia spat out another mouthful of blood. Go to hell. He attacked and killed all the beasts. At the same time his whole body trembled. I want to see who dares to speak ill of me. His soul spread out in all directions. The space of millions of miles was completely covered by him. However, in the next moment he vomited 3 liters of blood and fell to the ground. Chapter 3675. It turned out that everyone in the East Spirit world was talking about him. Not only the beasts but even some of the challengers knew about it. For example, the people of Wuxia City knew about it. What? Despicable and shameless Wuxia, was he actually beaten up? This Wuxia wasn't that strong. Yeah, and it was said that he was despicable. Furthermore, those monstrous beasts even said that he was an unpardonably evil person. Despicable and shameless? That was a small matter. He was ugly. He attacked his own sister. He attacked his benefactor. He attacked his own sister. He even attacked his own father. In short, he was as shameless as he could be. Wuxia's body exploded. In the next moment he fell to the ground. Dead. At this moment the severely injured Wuxia was dead. She would be angered to death by him. Seeing this, the earth fiend demonic rat's eyes widened. Damn, a level 4 sage was angered to death. This was probably the first time in thousands of years. Lin Xian sneered. He deserved it. If he didn't provoke me he wouldn't have ended up like this. Lin Wuti, I'll fight you to the death. Suddenly, a gray shadow rushed out from Wuxia's body. It was a spirit. However, it was different from a normal spirit. It was black and had a strong evil aura. Not good. A vengeful spirit. The earth fiend demonic rat screamed. I knew this guy wouldn't die. Lin Xian sneered. A mere vengeful spirit. What can it do to me? Wuxia was indeed dead. He didn't expect himself to be angered to death. He was indignant. Although his spirit was defeated, it wasn't completely destroyed. Therefore, after he died he became a vengeful spirit. Although he was living in another way between heaven and earth, it was completely different from being truly alive before. After becoming a vengeful spirit, it wouldn't be easy for him to cultivate again. Moreover, his strength was greatly reduced. It wasn't easy for him to be alive. All of this was given to him by Lin Xian. He wouldn't let Lin Xian go. You won't let me off? Lin Xian descended from the sky and looked at the other party. Why won't you let me go? Not good, the other party is coming. Wuxia's vengeful spirit was scared out of his wits. He was no match for the other party and wanted to escape. Lin Xian reached out with his giant hand, which blotted out the sky and covered the sun. Like a cage, he directly grabbed the other party. If you wanted to turn into something else it might be very troublesome, but you chose to turn into a vengeful spirit. I can only say that you are very stupid. Don't worry, Qi is not your final destination. I want you to die in another 10,000 reincarnations. Lin Xian immediately opened Spring-Autumn Lock. Vengeful spirits were also a type of soul. They were unable to resist eye techniques, especially one as powerful as Lin Xian's. In the next moment, Wuxia's vengeful spirit was hit by an eye technique and was pulled into an illusory world. Here he would receive 10,000 cycles of reincarnation. Every time he would be mercilessly tortured. It was a fate worse than death. A few seconds later Wuxia's vengeful spirit disappeared. He was killed without a trace. In fact, the real situation was that he had experienced tens of thousands of reincarnations and tens of thousands of years of torture. The earth fiend demonic rat swallowed his saliva. Fortunately he didn't provoke such a killing god. Otherwise his ending would be very miserable. Wuxia was dead. Next he had to deal with the other party's storage room. Among them, the saint artifact Tianluo umbrella turned into a stream of light and tried to escape. However, it was blocked by Lin Xian. After an earth-shattering battle, Lin Xian directly subdued Tianluo Flash. He threw it into the Great Sage Pagoda and used the starry sky to refine it. At the same time Lin Xian looked at the black earth again. It was already 90% complete. It wouldn't be long before it completely turned into a saint artifact. This way he would have more saint artifacts in his hands. After thinking for a while, Lin Xian directly handed the mind-settling pearl to Xiao Bai. He said, "Little guy, this is for you in the future." Little White took it over. "What are those big black eyes?" "Wow, that's great. With this thing along with my treasure bowl I can snatch anything when the time comes." He laughed mischievously. "Let's go, let's continue on our way." Lin Xian and the other two turned into a stream of light and continued on their way. Although Wuxia was dead, the news of him being despicable and shameless continued to spread. In the entire Eastern spirit world, everyone knew about it. The examinees of Wushuang City had heard about it too. When Di Ling heard the news, his face turned gloomy. What was this Yuqinya doing? What a piece of trash. I thought that I didn't have to do it myself. Who knew that I would have to do it myself? Well, I'll deal with this Lin Wudi personally. As Lin Xin flew, he began to clean up Yuqinya's storage ring. He had to admit that this young master had a lot of things. Lin Xin couldn't help but smile. Just the pills for cultivation alone, he found thousands of bottles. He took out hundreds of bottles and swallowed them all. He began to eat them like jelly beans. The ground fiend demonic rat looked on with envy. These were all miraculous elixirs for the cultivation of saints. It was not easy to get one on a normal day. Now that the other party had handed over thousands of them, it was a waste to eat them. His heart was bleeding as he looked at her. However, Lin Xin didn't care. These were obtained by accident. Furthermore, there was no difference between eating it carefully and eating it in large quantities now, and the cultivation effect was no different. As for the remaining pills and cultivation treasures, Lin Xin directly opened them and threw the Sword Realm's small world in for the Great Dragon Sword Soul to absorb. The improvement of the Great Dragon Sword Soul was more difficult than the improvement of his cultivation. It required more resources. After a few more days, Lin Xin had already obtained 5 East Spirit Stones. The mission was half completed, which made him more confident. With the ground demon rat, his speed of collecting East Spirit Stones was much faster than others. Now they were on the way to collect the 6th East Spirit Stone. But half a day later, the ground demon rat said, "Wait. What's wrong?" Lin Xin asked. He didn't know. He felt uneasy. There seemed to be danger approaching. Lin Xin frowned and carefully sensed. There was no danger. The snow-white little monkey next to him was also puzzled. However, the ground demon rat said, "It should be a characteristic of our race. We have a particularly strong sense of hidden danger." Hearing this, Lin Xin frowned. It seemed that this should be true. Perhaps there really was some unknown danger. Take a detour. Lin Xin didn't want to be nosy. He prepared to take a detour. However, a few hours later, the ground demon rat said again, "Stop. The danger is still there. There's danger again. What's going on? You didn't sense it wrong, did you?" The ground demon rat's expression was extremely solemn. "Impossible. I swear on my life that there's definitely danger. I didn't sense it wrong." Then things were strange. The danger had always been there, which meant that someone had been following him. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.